What's up, everybody? Good morning and a very happy Wednesday to you all. A DK show coming to you from the TDS Sports Talk studios this morning. Whether you are listening on the radio dials of 105.1 FM, 790 AM, online at sportstalk1051.com, WAYYradio.com. You got the app. Download it, take it on the go, your smart devices, smart speakers, and, of course, the video stream that is up and rolling here this morning on a, well, depending on where you're listening to us from, a stormy, wet beginning to your start. So be a little weather aware today. Probably a good idea throughout, not just this morning, but throughout the day here. So, all right, what do we got on our game plan for us this morning? What do we have on the game plan for us? We're going to talk some Brewers. Brewers locking up another young minor league player. Luis Lara getting a 7-year deal. Another player yet to make his major league debut, but Lara agreeing to a 7-year deal. Contract, now nothing official, but sources are saying that the contract will guarantee about $31 million with the potential to max out at $78 million with all the incentives. And according to Brewers.com, could realistically net north of $63 million if all options are exercised and Lara performs at a star level over the course of the deal. So maybe a little bit of a surprise. I'll admit it. I was a little surprised. Because I don't know, just like some of the outfield depth and Garrett, like my first question or first thought went to, all right, who's in trouble at this point? Whose job's potentially in jeopardy? Is it Garrett Mitchell? Could it be Sal Frelick? Now Lara has been playing center field, so maybe it is Mitchell, considering Mitchell's just a little bit older than Sal Frelick as well. So, but I mean, the way Lara has been playing at AAA Nashville, I mean, the switch hitting prospect has just been having a fantastic season so far, hitting .338. He's got an OPS of a .948, 19 stolen bases, 7 home runs so far this year too. So yeah, he's a little bit on the smaller side, listed about 5'7", but he's been displaying a little bit more pop, a little bit more power in his bat this year. So add him to the list with Cooper Pratt. And maybe we're just kind of waiting and seeing if or when he's going to make his debut, when he's going to be called up. He was added to the 40-man roster after this too, so maybe just kind of a wait-and-see approach. But another young prospect for the Brewers getting locked up for the next few seasons. So he's going to be, long-term wise, he's there with Jackson and now Cooper Pratt. So like it. Thoughts on it? Let me know. Hit me up. Okay? Shoot it on over. Text it on over. 715-830-1912. Or you can join in on the video stream as well. Comment on the Section 105 chat room. But Brewers last night, game-wise, falling in Game 2 to the Athletics, 7-5. Robert Gasser getting charged with a loss, now 0-3 on the season, but he ended up going 5 innings, giving up 8 hits, 6 earned runs, did strike out 7, but in that ballpark gave up 4 home runs too. So, but Garrett Mitchell collecting 3 hits for the Crew. Yelich collected a couple of hits as well. So just 8 total hits for the Brewers last night, and 5 runs, but the Brewers striking out 13 times last night. Contreras leading the way, striking out 3 times. So Brewers will go for the series win tonight. 8:05. Brandon Sproat is going to get the start for the Brew Crew. So And then Perkins going to be getting Jack Perkins going to be getting the start for the Athletics. We'll preview that game coming up here in just a little bit too. Plenty of baseball, plenty of Brewers chat for you this morning. Also on the docket here, we'll chat a little green and gold as the Packers had a little practice yesterday. So we'll go through some of the comments from newly signed or newly extended, I should say, Christian Watson. What he had to say, Jordan Love comments, Matt LaFleur comments, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll go through some of that coming up a little bit later on as we chat a little green and gold. Also on the docket, we'll get the latest, another rumor/report, whatever the heck you want to call it, surrounding Giannis with the NBA draft coming our way. Just a couple of weeks now. Got another rumor report out there. So we'll hit that up as, I mean, we're technically less than 2 weeks away from the NBA draft. But we'll chat a little bit about that. We'll continue our 250 countdown. 250 countdown moments, players, coaches, games, plays, all that stuff that defines American sports from the last 250 years. So we'll continue that countdown. With it being Wednesday, we're going to play a little what if coming up later on too. So make sure you're listening to that. And then we're going to do another new segment called What Are We Doing Here? What are we doing here? So I want to give away some cards here today from one of our listeners, Paul, again. So let's give away a few cards here. So we're going to do it based off of participation points here on this Wednesday morning. So how do you participate? You just give me your thoughts. You throw out some answers, some opinions, some takes, some questions, all that fun stuff. Just participate. All right, you'll be in the running for that. So that's your game plan for us this morning. Going to be dabbling into a little bit of everything here. So let's pitter patter. Let's get at her, shall we? We'll take it for. Oh, should also note really quick, Carolina last night in the Stanley Cup Final, picking up a 5-3 victory, so they evened up that series. The NBA Finals continues with Game 4 tonight. Also, for a little local, we've got the Express picked up a win last night, so they're going to be back. We'll see what the weather looks like, but they'll be back at Carson Park tonight, taking on the Badlands Big Sticks. And then we do have the state softball tournament officially begins today with Division I, with some teams that maybe just kind of on the outside of right on the fringe of our listening area and such. But that's with Division I, a couple games. We'll see Marshfield taking on Muskego, Stevens Point taking on Appleton North. High school baseball yesterday. Some teams that punched their ticket to state include River Falls, Somerset, St. Croix Falls, Marathon Loyal, and Columbus Catholic. So congrats to all those teams that will be moving on. But all right, let's get things going here this morning. Starting off on the leadoff, let's talk a little Brew Crew baseball. Your thoughts, your opinions on the Crew. Lock it up. Luis Lara, whose maybe job is in jeopardy with the Brewers. Lock it up, Lara. Is it Garrett Mitchell? Could it be Sal Frelick? Is it somebody else? What do you think? All right, let me know. Text it on over, 715-830-1912. Or again, hit us up on the Section 105 chat room. We'll recap last night's loss and look ahead to the series finale against the A's with Brandon Sproat on the mound. So Brewers talk, baseball talk, coming up on the leadoff. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. Summer road trips create great memories, but sometimes accidents happen. If a fender bender puts a dent in your plans, trust Superior Auto Body in Eau Claire to get your vehicle looking like new again. Their experienced team provides quality collision repair and attention to detail that helps restore your vehicle and your peace of mind. When life bumps into your vehicle, count on Superior Auto Body in Eau Claire. And, today, too, be weather aware. Might have some strong storms that could produce some hail and such. So if that's the case, if that were to be the case and your vehicle maybe suffers some hail damage, either next day or so or this summer during storm season and such, just know that our good friends at Superior Auto Body are there to help make your vehicle look good as new. Superior Auto Body located North Farwell Street in Eau Claire. All right, let's get things going here this morning on the leadoff. We'll talk, first of all, good morning to everybody who's already chiming in saying good morning out there, so appreciate that. Let's talk some Brewers to open it up. And before we get to the game itself, a little bit of I'll be honest, I was surprised. I was surprised to see the news come across that Luis Lara is now locked up for 7 years. I was a little I'll admit, I'm a little surprised with that. That was something I was not expecting to see the Brewers. But I was also surprised about Cooper Pratt. So it's like every time I feel like I've got maybe the Brewers figured out or such, and I'm just they do another thing out there. We were just talking about Luis Lara. Could he be potentially involved in some trade talks with whether it was a Tarek Skubal or anybody else? But we were kind of doing the same thing with Cooper Pratt. So maybe we just have to kind of go at this. Whatever we think, the Brewers are going to do kind of the opposite in this situation. But my first thought was, all right, lock up Lara. He's obviously been playing incredibly well at the minor league level at AAA this year. I mean, dude is raking. He's a great defensive player. He has improved in power so far this year. Almost kind of sounds like Bryce Terang in a sense, doesn't it? Defense right away, and then it's kind of improved a little bit in the pop in his bat. So, but, my mind kind of instantly went straight to, all right, whose job is in trouble? Is it Garrett Mitchell? Is it Sal Frelick? Yeah, because eventually, you don't sign Lara to this type of deal unless he is a, full-time starter, and eventually he will. It depends on how soon that may be. But so first of all, I asked our good buddy, Mr. Bergen, Mr. Brandon Bergen. We'll get his thoughts on Friday, but he's one of my go-to Brewers peeps out there. And I just kind of asked, general thoughts on his deal, and he said pretty straightforward. He's a high floor guy because of his great defense that is flashing some good offensive skills this year as a younger AAA player, even if he only ends up as a defensive-heavy outfielder with speed and an okay bat. That's a good value for the money. So I asked who he thought was going to be maybe whose job is in trouble. Immediately neither, but may lean towards Mitchell. He's older, and Lara is a center field first. Frelick has more of a track record of production, even if this year hasn't gone well. So maybe that is the case. So does that mean potentially now we're getting way into the weeds here at this point? But I mean, okay, we're talking about trades. We're talking about trade deadlines. We're talking about moves to get players to help this year and such. Does that, with a Cooper Pratt waiting in the wings, a Jet Williams still down there, and now Lara eventually will be with the Major League club, does that make it, we've been talking about different trade scenarios and could they trade, from their minor league system. Now you kind of look at it, and I wonder, could they maybe include guys that are playing right now at the Major League level? Does that mean Garrett Mitchell could be on the trading block, could be a part of a trade to bring somebody else in, whether it is a pitcher or a third baseman or another batter or something? Do you mess with that this year? Is that something that you maybe do in the offseason so you don't, I guess, mess with the team chemistry. It puts a lot of different options on the table now. But what I think it does signify, though, too, Pratt ain't getting dealt, and now Lara is not getting dealt by the Brewers. But I think it opens up that door now, that possibility that a guy like maybe Garrett Mitchell could potentially be on the move. Whether it's this year or next offseason. I feel like it might be more so next offseason. But unless they get a deal where they just can absolutely say, yeah, we can't pass this up, then never say never. Because Brewers have already made some moves this year, before the season and during the season, that I think have surprised quite a few players or quite a few people out there. But I think, and then that throws in, I don't know what you'd get in return possibly, but with Cooper Pratt, you throw in a Joey Ortiz, throw in some other players involved. But, when you sign these guys, these younger dudes to these long-term deals, it opens up the door to trade possibilities for some veterans who are playing right now at this very moment. So, but again, I was a little surprised that they actually did this because, Garrett Mitchell is a player that came in too with a lot of hype, excitement, expectations, but the beginning of his career has been derailed by injuries. We know this. We've talked about it at length. But this year he's been able to stay healthy, and he's been able to produce, and he's had some good moments, especially from the offensive side. Defensively, I don't know. It just maybe a little bit of a step slower. I just and maybe I'm just being too hard. And I expected, this center fielder that could cover a ton of ground and make these great plays. And not to say he hasn't made good plays out there, but I guess, I don't know, I'm just a little underwhelmed from some of the things that I've seen defensively on the defensive side. And if you've seen any highlights from Lara and such, I mean, that guy covers a lot of ground. He might be only 5'7", but he covers a lot of ground out in center field. So maybe that was part of it too. It just I don't know if losing a step is or his loss of step is the right way to kind of describe Mitchell. It just I guess I'm feeling a little. Feeling I want more. I want to see more. A little. But looking at Mitchell's numbers so far this year, 247, OPS was 758, on base is a 356. So his average is not a whole lot. He's pretty darn close to averaging this year what he does, what he has throughout his career. And I get it, it's not the biggest sample size out there, but this year he's 247. He's a career 252 hitter. On base this year he's 356, career 340. OPS this year 758, career 764. And when you look at, he's played in 56 games so far this season. The most he has played in a season was in 2024 when he played 69 games. So he's 13 games away from that, and he's 22 at-bats away from matching that. And if you kind of look at it, he's 7 hits away. He had 50 hits that season when he hit 255. He had 8 home runs that year compared to just 3 this year. He's got more RBIs this year compared to 2024. And he has walked a little bit, he has walked 3 more times under 2. But he's already struck out more this year than he did in 2024. He's got 74 strikeouts compared to 71. And just 6 stolen bases so far. He had 11 in that 2024 season too. So maybe the Brewers just kind of see something with Garrett Mitchell where they're just like, not quite sure he's going to maybe reach that potential that we thought and a lot of people thought just a couple of years ago. Maybe they're seeing something that just it's not sitting right with them. Because it seems like that was the case with Isaac Collins, Caleb Durbin, why they traded those two guys in the offseason. They probably thought, hey, we don't think that they're going to be able to match that level that we saw this year, so let's sell high. Get something high in return. And when you look at those two players so far, I mean, Isaac Collins this year is hitting .212 with 3 home runs. Caleb Durbin, 193 with 1 home run. Compare that to last year, those two guys, I mean, you were talking about Rookie of the Year finalists. Brewers, right now, at least look like they got that one right. So, when you see these moves, when you see these contracts of signing these younger players who don't have any experience, do you give Matt Arnold, do you give the Brewers the benefit of the doubt? You know, when they did this with Jackson Chourio, the thought was like, okay, they're kind of taking a page a little bit out of some teams. The Braves were mentioned as an example, you know, locking up these younger players on long-term deals. It's a big risk, and they did it with Freddie. You know, they did a little bit with Aaron Ashby, taking some risks, but given the payroll and given, you know, that they're not a team that's going to spend a lot of money. I remember we had this discussion, you know, a couple of years ago. Is this the way that the Brewers are going to go and operate for years to come? Well, now they've done it with Cooper Pratt, and now they've done it with Lara, and it sure seems like that's going to be the case. You know, you got to imagine Jesus Mate is probably going to be one of the next people up to get this type of deal. Now, he's got a little bit more, you know, ways to go still with the Timber Rattlers, but I mean, if he gets to AA or even AAA fairly soon here, you would imagine that he's going to be one of the next guys to get that long-term deal. All right, let's take a quick break, and we'll talk a little bit about the game last night and take a look ahead to Game 3 tonight, the series finale. We'll take a quick break and be back after these few words. Looking for the perfect summer hangout? Well, then you need to make your way on over to the VFW Post 305 in Eau Claire. Enjoy some beautiful views overlooking the river, some great food, some cold beverages, and some of the best live local music that you will find anywhere in the Chippewa Valley. Whether you're meeting some friends after work or spending some summer evenings outdoors, the VFW Post 305 is the place to be. Great views, great music, great times. That's the VFW Post 305 in Eau Claire. Brewers last night falling to the A 7-5. The A's again with a little displaying a little power in that ballpark, their minor league ballpark again last night. You had Robert Gasser picking up his third loss on the season. He went 5 innings, giving up 8 hits and 4 home runs. The A's hitting a total of 5 home runs last night. Brewers only picking up 1 home run last night, and that was Jackson Chiridio in the first inning. But otherwise, I mean, Brewers jumped out to that 2-1 or 2-0 lead. Athletics chipped away, cut it in half after the first, and then took the lead in the second. Brewers tied it up in the fourth. But the Athletics putting up 3 in the bottom of the 5th inning. And it was a little bit of a back and forth there for a hot minute. Athletics took that 3-run lead. Then the Brewers got 2 back. But then Athletics put it up 1 more in the bottom of the 6th. And that was it for the scoring. And that was it for the Athletics. That's all they needed to come away with a 7-5 victory. Christian Yelich picking up a couple of hits again last night. Mitchell collecting 3 hits as well. So you look at, Christian Yelich here. Let's talk a little. We haven't really talked a lot about Christian Yelich and really what he has done from an offensive side here for the Brewers lately. But in his last 66 at-bats, Christian Yelich is hitting .318 with a .392 on-base percentage and slugging .409. If you go back to just his last 34 at-bats, Christian Yelich is hitting .324 with an on-base of a .395 and slugging .382. He's got 4 home runs so far this season. Maybe for some, not hitting with the power that they'd like, kind of from last year, but he did miss some time in that. But is it fair to say that Christian Yelich is having a quiet, solid season? I mean, the month of June, he's really been hitting the ball incredibly well. So far in the month of June, he's hitting .359. His on-base is a .432, and he is slugging .410. Now, he hasn't had a home run yet in the month of June. But you compare it to, May. All right, he missed about a month's worth. So, May 12th through May 31st, he hit just .208, had 3 home runs. In April, he was playing pretty darn well, too, up until he got hurt. He was hitting .294, .351 on base, and a .412 slugging. No home runs in the month of April. So it's kind of, when you look at how the season has gone so far for Christian Yelich from an offensive standpoint, it's kind of, if you throw in the few games in March there, he was .353 and 5 games and 1 home run. Then April, .294, hitting the ball, getting on base, no home runs. May, hitting home runs, average was a little bit low, but now so far in June, the average is up, but not hitting home runs. But overall, this season, he's .287, 21 RBIs, 4 home runs, and OPS was .788, on base of a .354. His average is a couple points higher than his career .285. His OPS is down. He's a career .838. So far, .788 this year. His on base is 20 points down, .374 compared to .354 this year. But is it fair to say Yelich still is kind of quietly having a solid season from the plate? I think that's fair. And I know we've talked about it before, but I like the first five. I think it's time you have to include Bowers into this because of the season that he is having, hitting 283 and 12 home runs. I mean, his last 21 at-bats, he's hit 3 home runs and 333 and slugging 857. But I like the first 5, and it feels like, heck, maybe even 6 if you want to throw Vaughn in there if Vaughn and Bowers are in the lineup together. But whatever variation they have, if it's Yelich hitting leadoff, Cheerio hitting leadoff, Terang hitting leadoff, it seems like they've settled on their first 4 for sure, with Yelly at that leadoff, Cheerio at 2, Terang at 3, and Contreras at 4. Then you throw in Bowers and Vaughn. I've seen them both where Vaughn maybe 5 if Bowers isn't playing, or Bowers is playing 5, and if Vaughn's playing, he's 6. It feels like they've kind of settled on that first half of the lineup. And I like it. They just need a little bit more consistent production from those final 3. And that includes my dude, Sal Frelick. Like to get a little bit more from Sal here, from Salvatore. Got to get a little bit more production from him. So game 3, series finale tonight. Brandon Sproat is getting the start. And I know a couple of peeps out there said surprised he's getting another start. I think a lot of it just is you kind of look at some of the injuries that the Brewers have with their starters. You know, Coleman Crow last night pitched 2 innings coming out of the pen. So I think it's really a numbers game at this point. Logan Henderson still banged up. Brandon Woodruff still banged up. And I think that's where we're at here. So hopefully he's got a good start in him tonight. I mean, you look at the lineups and the hitting lineups going up against these pitchers, there really isn't anything. I mean, yeah, nothing to really write home about. On the flip side, you've got Perkins going for the A's, Jack Perkins, and he's coming off of his latest game on the 5th against the Astros. He picked up a loss. He went 4 innings, gave up 5 earned runs. Now, Perkins has appeared in 18 games so far, but has started just 1 of those games, and that was his latest outing back on the 5th against the Astros. Otherwise, I mean, this is a guy that is coming out of the pen and has given this team an inning or a couple innings of relief. Back on the 25th against Seattle, he did go out there for 4 2/3. He gave up 2 earned runs, but this Houston game where he gave up the 5 earned runs, that was the most he has given up in an outing. You go back to April 13th, he did give up 4 in an inning and 2/3 against Texas. So this will be just his second start for this season for the Athletics. So can the Brewers offense, jump at him, get after him? He doesn't have a ton of starting experience. Last year for the Athletics, he started 4 games. He appeared in 12 games. He started 4 of those. He was 3-2 with a 4.19 ERA, but he pitched just 38 2/3 of an innings. He's already at 32 innings so far this year. So can the offense maybe just kind of rattle him right away and put up some early run support for Brandon Sproat. And Sproat coming off that game against Colorado where he had the no decision. He went 5 innings, but he gave up 7 hits, 3 earned runs, and a couple of walks and just a couple of strikeouts. Brandon Sproat, to me, still is that guy that is probably going to get you, if you can get 5 out of him, and hopefully not really any big crooked numbers that he's given up, just go out there, get you 5, maybe 2 turns through the rotation, ideally maybe 3, without giving up a lot of runs, especially if you could get 3 turns through the lineup card with Brandon Sproat tonight with the wear and tear of the bullpen. I think that would be a huge win, but he's got to have his stuff. He's got to have his stuff tonight. Otherwise, we have seen with this ballpark, games can get out of hand very quickly from the offensive side. So there's an added element, or there's an added amount of pressure on Brandon Sproat tonight to make sure that he is on. Because if he's not, this ballpark, it could get ugly for him. So hopefully he's on, but hopefully the Brewers offense is on too. All right, we got to take a quick break as we start to wrap up the first hour already. We'll be back after these quick words. Summer is here, and that means it is the perfect time to give your home a fresh new look with Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire. Whether you are updating a family room, finishing a basement, refreshing a bedroom, or finally tackling that remodeling project that you've been putting off, Carpet City Flooring Center has the flooring options you're looking for, from beautiful luxury vinyl planks to carpets, tile, and more. You'll find quality products and expert guidance every single step of the way. Their experienced team will help you find the right flooring that fits your style, your budget, and your lifestyle too. They've done that for me how many times? And with professional installation available, your project can be completed quickly and correctly. Make this the summer you transform your home. Stop on in to Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire today and discover why so many area homeowners trust Carpet City Flooring Center for all of their flooring needs. Carpet City Flooring Center, helping you love where you live. Brewers, by the way, tonight with the series finale. First pitch is going to be at 8:05. You can listen to it on the radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM. Coverage will begin at about 7:30 tonight as the Brewers looking to get a series win before returning home and beginning should be a big, fun weekend series welcoming the Philadelphia Phillies to town here. So, and I know we've touched on it a few times already, but this upcoming portion of the schedule, and not to overlook the A's by any means, but you look at Phillies, you look at Guardians, and then the Braves. Throw in the Reds a couple times, and then the Cubbies. This is going to be a very tough finish to the month of June. Very tough finish to the month of June. So, but hey, they did it in May, going up against some really good teams, and they did a fantastic job, a fantastic month of May. So Brewers want to show that they're a real force in this in Major League Baseball, a real contender. Well, let's see them go up against some of these teams, Cleveland, Phillies, Braves, and pick up a bunch of wins too. So, but we'll get to that point after we take care of business, after the Brewers take care of business against the A's tonight, hopefully picking up a win and hopefully picking up that series win before returning home. But again, 8:05 tonight. Coverage will begin at about 7:30 on 105.1 FM, 790 AM. Coming up a little bit later on, we'll continue our top 250 countdown. We'll talk a little Giannis Bucks. We're less than 2 weeks away from the NBA draft, which is that soft deadline. We do have another kind of rumor / report, whatever you want to kind of term it at this point. But we'll tell you what that is, what's being floated out there. So as we are inching closer and closer and closer to, you would think, a decision. You would think, some finality to the whole situation, whether he's going to be gone or whether he's going to be, whether he's going to be re-signing with the Bucks or whatever the case may be. So, but we'll get to that coming up a little bit later on. It is Wednesday too, so I do have a little what if I want to throw out your way, and then what are we doing? I'll explain what that segment is. What are we doing here? It's a Wednesday. What are we doing here? So, hey, if you have any good what-if situations, I'm an open book. Send them on over. Well, I'll throw it out to the rest of the peeps out there. If you got a good what-if, like what if Bucks trade the trade Giannis? Then what? Or what if the Bucks re-sign Giannis? How about that? Maybe that's the better one. What if the Bucks re-sign Giannis? And if that's the case, what else should they do? What else should they do? So that's just kind of an example out there. If you got any good what ifs, send them on over. So, all right, just a couple minutes left to the top of the hour here. We've got a quick text from Rando. Heard 3 team options. Are they included in the 7-year contract or are those after? Are you talking about the Lara deal? So Lara, had 3 team options. So it's club options, 3 club options afterwards. So Not, I haven't. I looked it up earlier, and there really isn't any values reported on those club options yet at this point. So, but yeah, there is a little bit more team protection after that too. So, I mean, if Lara goes out there and plays at a superstar level, an MVP type of level and such, there could be that could be another hopefully bargain type of deal for the Brewers if they get to that point. Let me see if Jackson has any of those too. I feel like Jackson might have that. Yeah, so Jackson does have 2 club options that start in 2032, 2032 and 2033, but payroll does go up to $25 million. So just got 1 minute. Good morning, Morgs.
Yeah, right, Kasper. Wednesday wild card. You got to pick a number between 1 and 32.
We'll go 32.
What is the biggest accomplishment that you can't put on a resume?
Being a dad.
Okay, that's a pretty one.
Yeah.
Then how about this? Is competitive eating a sport?
No.
Not at all.
No.
People that argue that it is?
Come on.
Joey Chestnut?
Just stop. Just stop.
I agree. It's not a competitive sport.
No.
It's kind of gross.
It is very gross.
1 and 32. You get
what's
another
the
one.
benefit of it? Or what's the purpose of it?
Keeps plumbers in business, I'm guessing.
Something. I don't know.
The best piece of advice that you would give younger Kasper.
Didn't you do this one to me last time?
Yeah, but you said you were going to get back to us.
And I forgot about it.
Well, tell him not to be a liar.
Maybe that's the best
tell
advice
him not
I'd
to
say.
be a liar.
Follow through and don't procrastinate. There you go. Get
don't
your
lie
homework
to your
done.
friends.
Yes. Don't wait till the last minute to get things done.
To answer questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Good
Thanks,
advice.
Morgs. We got to take a quick break. We've got news updates. We'll be back after these few words. All right, second hour kicking off on this Wednesday morning. We are making the turn on this week already. Thanks for hanging out with us and making us a part of your starts. If you're already up and at it, which 7 o'clock now, come on. We've been up for a few hours already. Be weather aware today. I know we had a thunderstorm already, but sounds like we could have some more throughout the day and this evening. So just be safe and be weather aware. If you got any outdoor plans throughout the day and tonight, too. So, coming up, well, first of all, first hour, we spent the first hour talking baseball, Brewers baseball, Lara contracts. We've got Rando saying, I think that Garrett Mitchell has to be the most worried now. I would agree, but I also know I might have a little bit of homerism to that too, because Salvatore, like, I don't want him to leave anytime soon. So, but yeah, I'd agree on there too. Hey, we got a couple what ifs, so thank you to those of you who have sent over those. Maybe we'll kind of do this every Wednesday, a little what if Wednesday. But John says, well, first of all, John's got a packed one, so I'll save that here. But Surveyor says, what if Matt Arnold didn't hire Pat Murphy to be manager? Where would they be now? So part of this what if is I'm going to throw these questions out that all of you are throwing out there, and I want you to answer them too. So this is a good one from Surveyor. What if the Brewers didn't hire Pat Murphy as manager? Where would they be right now? Would they be, playoffs, setting franchise records and wins like they did last year? Would they be missing playoffs? Where would it be? I'm trying to remember some of the names that had been reportedly interviewed. I think Don Mattingly was one of them. Stephen Vogt's name was thrown out there too. I don't know if the Brewers actually talked to him or if Cleveland nabbed him up quickly. Trying to remember some other ones, but what if? Here's my thing. My answer to that one, if we just get our crystal balls out, our magic 8 balls, and in my opinion, no, they don't set a franchise record in wins and maybe make the playoffs for 1 year, but they're not having the success that they're having at this point in time. They're not. That's what I firmly believe. That's my opinion. I don't see it. I don't see the same level of success. I can't. Again, maybe just one, but 1 year of playoffs, but that's about it. We've got, okay, I'm going to save some of these here, but John says, what if Lucas Van Ness takes the next step that we have all been waiting for this season? Do the Packers sign him to an extension next year, or do they let him walk? That's another good one. That's another good one because, money, right? Pass rushers get premium amounts of dollar bills. That's, okay, so, whew. Now, I think, without looking it up, because I have to take some time, there's two names that I think for sure are probably going to come off the books next year. Aaron Banks, I think that contract's going to come off. I do think Josh Jacobs comes off the books next year, if I were to make a prediction. I hate to say this one, but let me look him up just really quickly. He... Maybe not, just based off of an age. So Xavier McKinney. Oof. Xavier McKinney's got nearly a $25 million cap hit next year. He's got a dead cap of 15. That's going to be a tricky one. Honestly, I think the Packers try to figure out a way to do it. I think they try to figure out a way to do it. Unless, I'll throw a caveat to this, unless one of those other guys, whether it's one of the rookies or whether it's a Baron Sorrell or a Colin Oliver, if we see any sort of production from them this year that makes you say, yes, we want more of that, then I think. But if we get next to nothing from any of those other guys that are not named Micah or Lucas Van Ness, then I think they find a way. But if you get some production from some of those guys where it's like, okay, we feel comfortable maybe letting them go, then I think that might change things. But all right, I know we got more. I'll get to those coming up a little bit later on because I do want to throw in really quick here a little hoops talk here. Kind of the latest rumor report rumbling surrounding Giannis. The NBA draft coming up in a couple weeks, a little less than 2 weeks now. So we know that this is kind of the soft deadline to make a deal for Giannis. Well, according to Jake Fisher and Mark Stein, the Milwaukee Bucks are expected to trade Giannis before the NBA draft on June 23rd. The team is operating as if it will receive an extra first-round pick in addition to their current number 10 pick. The Bucks, according to this report, the Bucks prefer waiting until after the NBA Finals to trade Giannis, as they want to see if the Knicks blow a 2-0 finals lead and re-enter trade discussions. Now, this one also says the Heat are said to be on top of Giannis' list of destinations, though the Celtics are also in play, and we've heard that the Celtics are not. This is a typical trade thing. You throw teams involved in here, and it maybe moves up the number, moves up what you could get in return. But this also says the Bucks are looking to include the Blazers in any multi-team deal to reacquire draft capital from the Damian Lillard trade before the 23-24 season. So that's the latest rumor, rumble, whatever you want to call it, report, whatever we're going to call it these days, surrounding Giannis. I think on my Giannis-o-meter, we're at like 7.5 that he's good as gone. 7.5, Giannis is out of here. That's what I feel like. That's kind of where I'm at on that. But hey, maybe we're caught by surprise, and maybe this is just a good old play by John Horst and this Bucks franchise, and they catch everybody off guard. But it sure seems like it's trending that way, doesn't it? Dang. So, all right. We're going to talk some more baseball coming up a little bit later on here as we get set. But give me your thoughts on the Luis Lara extension. Who do you think is in most trouble now? Do you think it's Garrett Mitchell? Do you think should the Brewers maybe include Garrett Mitchell into any trade discussions if they were to make any trades this year? I still feel like Garrett Mitchell might be more of a maybe off-season type of trade package. So I think they could get. I think if he was a part of a trade package to, I'm just gonna say Skubal, but I don't think it's going to be Skubal, and I don't know if they will do any moves. But I mean that would be a nice piece to it. I think a lot of teams would be interested in a guy like Garrett Mitchell. But is Garrett Mitchell the one that's probably the most in trouble now from a future standpoint of playing with the Brewers and that? So, but give me your thoughts on the Lara signing, the 7-year deal plus a couple of club options after that too. Continue to send me your what ifs. It's a What If Wednesday brought to you by our good friends from Superior Auto Body. Plus, got another segment I want to do a little bit later on. What are we doing here? All right, I'll explain what that is coming up a little bit later on. Next hour, we'll continue our top 250 countdown for sports moments in American history. All right, let's take a quick break. Packers did practice yesterday a little bit. We heard Christian Watson for first time since inking his new deal and such. We'll hit that up and more coming up after these few words. Believe it or not, hunting season preparation starts right now, and there's no better place to gear up than Tilden Gun in Chippewa Falls. Whether you're looking to upgrade your deer rifle, pick up a new turkey, a shotgun, or maybe a new shotgun for some trap, sporting clays, target shooting, Tilden Gun has a wide selection of firearms from brands that you know and trust. Their knowledgeable staff can help you find the perfect fit for your hunting style, experience level, and budget. Plus, you'll find ammunition, accessories, optics, and more to help you get the most out of every trip to the range or into the field. Don't wait until the season is right around the corner. Get prepared now and shoot with confidence later. Stop by Tilden Gun in Chippewa Falls and see why sportsmen and shooting enthusiasts throughout the Chippewa Valley trust Tilden Gun for all their firearm needs. You can check them out online at tildengun.com. It's a very easy, simple-to-use website. I've used it many times and such. Or do yourself a favor and check out their awesome-looking shop at 12427 98th Avenue in Chippewa Falls. Packers having another practice yesterday. Got to hear a little bit from Matt LaFleur, Jordan Love, Lucas Van Ness, who we were just talking about there a quick second ago, and then Christian Watson. First time he has talked with the media since inking his new deal. So let's talk a little green and gold this morning. And first off, good morning, Joe. And then what are your thoughts on general thoughts on Christian Watson's contract?
I think it's a great deal for both sides. I think that the way that the Packers structured it, and you look at it, the only guaranteed portion of that is the signing bonus, and Green Bay has held very firm on that they're not going that guaranteed route, and so I thought it was a great move by both sides. And again, the fantasy football players, the stats followers, those types of things, they say, the guy's only had 600 some yards as a season high. They look at the stats and they say, well, maybe he's not deserving of that. You got to look at the total picture. And when Christian Watson is on the field, it tilts the field. It actually tilts the field in favor of that offense, and it opens up so much. And when you look at what the Packers have done this offseason and kind of clearing the path for a Matthew Golden, and clearing the path and committing to a Christian Watson. And the same thing with Jaden Reed. And I expect that Tucker Kraft extension to be coming soon as well. I really like the way this offense is looking right now on paper. And I think you've got an opportunity. Christian Watson is healthy. I know that's a big if. And I know there's fans out there that still say, he's injury prone, et cetera, et cetera. And he has been. So there's just no doubt about it. But if you extrapolate his seasons into even a 15-game season. Let's say he's hurt for 2 games. It's game-changing. The numbers, you're looking at probably 1,100 yards as far as receiving and 10, 11 touchdowns if you extrapolate it out. So I thought the deal was great. And again, I see that Tucker Kraft deal coming down the pipe pretty quick. Devontae Wyatt's still in line for an extension. So I really like, again, the way Green Bay is handling this offseason. The other thing, Dan, really quick that I want to speak of is Micah Parsons talking a little bit more about player accountability. When he specifically talked about he and Xavier and Coop and Zaire and Jordan need to take on a much bigger leadership role and hold each other accountable. So love where this off season is headed. And again, obviously the Josh Jacobs situation still up in the air. That could derail a lot of things, but at least at this point, really like where things are headed. And again, really like the Christian Watson move.
With all the signings that, Jaden Reed and Sean Ryan and now Christian Watson, is the priority still offense with Tucker Kraft? Do you shift that a little over to the defensive side with Devontae Wyatt? Where would you go from here?
I'd still probably go Tuck. Again, I think it's going to be. I think they're both going to get done. I would probably go Tuck a little bit more, just because of the fact that I think you saw, and especially towards that Pittsburgh game last year, You just saw the offense really starting to revolve around Tucker Kraft, and I think Devontae Wyatt is very important. But when you look at how important is that one piece of the puzzle to that side of the ball, I think Tucker Kraft is more important. And again, I think Devontae Wyatt deserves that extension as well. But I would focus on getting Kraft done next, and then hopefully you can still get Wyatt done. And again, Green Bay's in a really good position cap-wise, so they can still get these deals done in both deals and feel pretty good about it and still be in a pretty good position moving forward. So if I were Goody, I'd get Kraft done, and then I focus on Devontae Wyatt after that.
Jordan Love talked a little bit with the media yesterday, and he said one of the things that he's really been focusing on improving this year has just been his footwork within the pocket, maybe not panicking too much or moving them around a little bit too much. Seeing Jordan Love the last few years, would you say that's maybe the biggest thing that he needs to improve on in his game is his footwork in the pocket?
I still think so. I still think, look, I think it's night and day from when he came out of college. Night and day. So I think he sometimes still tends to kind of throw off that back foot a little bit and rely on the arm a little bit too much. And again, I always equate this to a pitcher in baseball. When a pitcher in baseball can throw it, 97, 98, 99, 100 miles an hour, he doesn't need to really focus on technique or mechanics as much. Well, as he gets older, he needs to. And I think that's where, again, Jordan Love having that good base underneath him, focusing on the footwork part of the game, I think is going to actually elevate his career and elongate his career because, again, he makes some great throws. He really does. He's got a very, very good arm. But when you rely on the arm too much and you're thinking off platform a lot, you tend to rely on that a little bit too much. You tend to drift away from those really good mechanics. So, yeah, if he can continue to focus on footwork, and again, night and day from where he came out of college, but where he is today, I think is in a really good spot. And that self-awareness of knowing what I need to work on to take that next step. And I think the other part of Jordan's game is I think he needs to be more vocal. I mean, everyone knows it's been well documented how Aaron Rodgers treated teammates that maybe, missed an assignment or did something wrong or maybe weren't prepared as much as they should be. And I think Jordan Love needs to bring that side of his game up too. So that footwork, number one, absolutely. That vocal leadership, that demanding more of his teammates. I'd like to see more of that as well.
We do a little what if sometimes on Wednesday mornings, and one listener threw out, what if Lucas Van Ness this year takes that step and he has a fantastic season? Should the Packers look at re-signing him and extending him this offseason, or would that just be too much after Tucker Kraft, Devontae Wyatt, et cetera, et cetera?
That's a great what if. And I look at how Micah Parsons has spoke of Lucas Van Ness. And first of all, you never heard him talk about Rashawn Gary the way that he has with Lucas Van Ness. And that was from day one. When Micah Parsons arrived there, that was from day one. So, look, this guy was a first-round pick. It remains to be seen what kind of player he could be. But if you get a guy, if Van Ness comes out and rips off double-digit sacks this year, which is an extreme possibility, especially with Parsons not coming back for the first few games, and then with Micah in the lineup, of course, he's going to get all the double teams. And so I see Lucas Van Ness approaching that double-digit sack number. And if Lucas Van Ness hits that number and Green Bay can make it work, yeah, I say re-sign him. That's just one of those positions. And now that this team is back to a 3-4, that's just one of those absolutely critical positions. And when you have two bookend guys at that outside backer spot that can bring it, and Lucas Van Ness also can put his hand in the dirt. So I think you have some flexibility there. But, yeah, if he comes up and does a double-digit sack season, I think at that point you're still looking at an ascending player, and Green Bay tends to give ascending players that second contract. So I'd have zero problem with it because, again, now do you have to sacrifice somewhere else? Because does the Sean Ryan then maybe become expendable because of the fact that you can't pay everybody? Maybe, but you've drafted and you may have Sean Ryan's replacement from this draft, and so then you say, all right, well, we're gonna get rid of that contract and then go after LVN. And so yeah, I think yes, you do re-sign him if he has that season because of the fact that it is a premier position.
Looking at some of Matt LaFleur's comment, it's still unknown about Josh Jacobs and such, and it sounds like it's still kind of an investigation in that. But the fact that Green Bay maybe hasn't made a move yet to bring in another running back, it sounds like Marshawn Lloyd is getting more team reps in that. Do you still feel like that they should scour that market and bring in a running back, or do you think the fact that they haven't done so yet that they're going to roll with what they got right now?
No. I think behind closed doors, I think contingency plan B, contingency plan C, contingency plan D. I think that organization, that front office is already putting together the what if scenarios and should we go after this guy and what is this guy going to cost us? And so no, I think since this thing broke, I don't think Goody has stopped and that front office has stopped looking at opportunities to bring someone in, because again, that's the kind of thing. If this thing goes horrible, and it's already bad for everyone involved. But if this thing goes horrible and the allegations are not only true but worse than we thought, and then you eventually have to get rid of a Josh Jacobs. I think you have to be looking at Plan B and Plan C, and I think you have to be looking at options right now. And if I still say, look, unless there's a major deal swung as far as the trade goes, if you do have to go to option B or option C or option D, I look at this being more of a running back by committee type of an approach, then okay, well, it's going to be one guy and we're going to give him the rock 20 times a game. So I think they are scouring other rosters and playing scenarios out that, hey, could this guy be cut? Could he be had for a 6th or 7th round pick? Do we need to sign somebody maybe after these OTAs and before training camp? So I think you're going to get more clarity in this as we head into July. And I think you're going to see where Green Bay needs to go at that point, because they're going to know internally, of course, before the rest of us do. And so I think you're going to see. I think you're going to see a move. I think you might see a couple of moves because it's just too critical to the success of this football team. And going back to the original point, this whole off season has been built around. All right, we've got the team we want to run with. We've got the guys we want. We're going to make that Super Bowl run this year, and without a viable running game, they're never going to get there.
Last question here for you. Jordan Love also yesterday was asked about who's a player that we as the media are not talking enough about, and he threw out Savion Williams. So what should be a realistic expectation? We're talking all these Christian Watson, Matthew Golden, Jaden Reeds. But what should be, in your opinion, a realistic expectation for Savion Williams this year?
What I'd like to see, and I'm going to throw the stats out, is I'd like to see from him an expanded route tree. Look, last year it seemed to be that Green Bay either A, didn't want to force feed him, or B, felt maybe he was that Swiss Army knife that we could put in the backfield and put in jet sweeps. And again, he did that in college. So they're playing off his strengths. I'd like to see Savion Williams with an expanded route tree where you're running more underneath stuff. You're getting him on the move a little bit more, out in space. And again, those whip routes and posts and those types of things. I'd like to see more of that. And again, throw out the stats. But if Savion is healthy and he is active game day for 15 games this year, I think a realistic expectation is probably, 20 or 30 catches with probably 4 or 5 TDs. But I'd like to see them use him in much different ways. And like I said, with that expanded route tree, because of the fact that I think he has a lot of ability. And I think Green Bay might have gotten someone because obviously, they draft Matthew Golden. The expectations are through the roof. But Savion Williams, I think, again, can be a guy that can contribute. Right now, he is wide receiver number 4. Because I think he plays more probably, in my opinion, than Sky Moore does. And so that in this offense, when you're going 4 wideouts, it's a critical position. And so, again, I just want to see him expand his game and Green Bay expand how they use him.
He's Joe DeGuano joining us this morning, chatting some green and gold. We appreciate the time as always, man. Stay dry and enjoy the rest of the week, and we'll catch up with you again next week.
All right, Dan. Appreciate it as always, brother. Talk to you soon.
You got it. There you go. There's Joe joining us here this morning. Let's take a quick break and then continue to send me some what ifs. All right, what if scenarios out there. We had, Rando said, what if the Pack never traded for Favre? Where would we be with different draft picks we would have had? Maybe I would say probably not a Super Bowl 31, probably not a Reggie White either. That's my opinion. But got some more good ones? Send them on over. Text them or hit us up in the comments on the video stream. Quick break. Back with plenty more after these few words. Summer puts your vehicle to the test, and AGM Automotive is ready to help you win that battle with two convenient Eau Claire locations. AGM Automotive can handle everything from oil changes and inspections. Man, spit it out, Dan. Sorry about that. To brakes, tires, and major repairs. Before your next road trip, make sure that your vehicle is ready for wherever summer takes you. Trust the team at AGM Automotive. 2 locations, 1 commitment, and that's keeping you safely on the road all summer long. Coming up next hour, I'll do our next 250, our next group of 10 for our 250. And this one's going to be mostly like plays, but there's also a couple of like moments. That's probably the best word I can use to describe it, because they're not necessarily plays, or they're not a single game essentially. So yeah, so let's go, like, let's just say moments to go over. So it's a little bit of a combination of plays and moments that we cannot define the last 250 years of sports in America without mentioning these. And a little bit of a tease, there's a couple of soccer ones here, and I kind of want to do an informal poll here with the World Cup starting up like tomorrow and such. How many of you, so a couple questions here. I'm really curious. And anybody who participates in this, I'm going to put together, kind of a swag pack and randomly select somebody to give a little bit of a swag pack for. And I don't care how you answer these couple questions. I'm just curious. 1, how much are you going to be paying attention to the World Cup? 2, do you like go somewhere to watch? If so, like where are you going, or is it like you stay at home? I'm genuinely curious because I know this area is huge into soccer, local soccer, youth soccer, prep soccer, et cetera, et cetera. Now that the World Cup is nearly upon us, is that something that you're really going to be paying attention to, that you're really going to be following? And just like, how is it like, explain it to me for somebody who maybe just a casual observer and such. Do you go somewhere to watch? Is there a go-to place here? Or is it something that you kind of just hang out at home and maybe have some house parties and get-togethers and, such? Got to put it like into maybe in a American football perspective. I was going to say football, but soccer football. Yeah, okay, bad joke. But hit me up. All right, just hit me up with a text. All right, 715-830-1912. Comment on the video stream in the section 105. If you're not, you're like, no, I don't watch soccer, I don't care. That's fine. I want to hear about that. If you do, you're like diehard, you're like, yeah, dude, this is must watch. I'm taking days off. I'm taking time off to do. I want to hear either way or somewhere in the middle. You're like, maybe casually. I want to hear. I genuinely want to hear. All right. Curious to get your thoughts on that. So, but there are, again, a couple of soccer ones in our top 10, or our next group of 10, I should say, for our top 250 countdown. We'll do that next hour. So, Brewers-wise, we'll get back to some more Brewers chat, some more baseball talk as we get set for this series finale tonight against the Athletics. First pitch, 8:05 for the Brew Crew. Brandon Sproat is on the mound, and I know a few people are like, oh, man, another start with Brandon Sproat. I think it's a numbers game, you guys. With some of the injuries to the pen and obviously Logan Henderson's still out, Brandon Woodruff's still out, pen getting used a lot here as of late. It's a numbers game. When everybody's healthy, is he a starter going forward? I would probably say maybe no, but I could be completely wrong. I feel like it's right now strictly a numbers game. Why we're continuing to see more starts from him. So, every Wednesday now, I kind of want to do a segment called "What Are We Doing Here?" Now, this could be, it's pretty open-ended, like I like to do a lot of these segments. And this could be something like that's going on in the sports world. Like, okay, like has to be something in the sports world. It could be a positive thing. It could be a negative thing. Like, what are we doing here? Why are we not talking more about this? Or what are we doing here? Why is this happening? What is going on here? So I'm still going to piggyback off of the news from earlier in the week with the Brendan Sorsby thing. What are we doing here by allowing this to get to the point it has? And I get it. It went to court and such, but like this is my concern. This is my concern that if there is a decision a university, a team doesn't like, it's just going to go to the courts. We've seen it in the pros. Tom Brady. We're seeing it now. Like what at some point, and I get at there's extenuating circumstances for some of these that maybe you have to, but this one seems so clearly obvious that Sorsby broke the rules, violated rules, and this just sets up a whole can of worms. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? I don't understand this. And I completely am in line with the frustration, the annoyance from other schools, athletic directors. Big 12 athletic directors held a call yesterday. And apparently, without Texas Tech's AD, of course, but they're all united around the notion that Sorsby should not be eligible for next season. I think almost everybody believes that. What are we doing? Why? This seems so obvious that we are making this so complicating. I don't get it. And yeah. So that's kind of like what are we doing here? And it could be, again, we can turn it into a positive thing. We can turn it into a negative thing. We could turn it into a neutral thing. I'd like to keep it open-ended that way. So, for example, maybe a positive one going forward would be, and I didn't say it because it is getting the proper attention, but Paul Skeens, cool story. He stops by a Little League practice and hangs out for a couple hours and helps him out. Paul Skeens does not have to do that. But Paul Skeens gets it. Okay? So if that was something that wasn't getting enough attention, that would be like, what are we doing here? We got to give this guy more and I know he's with the Pirates, but from everything that goes out there and you hear from him and his actions and such, it's really hard not to root for a guy like that. I've got a soft spot for athletes that take time to hang out with kids. Because not a lot, especially at the level of Paul Skeens, to dedicate some time just randomly, like, hey, little league thing going on, I'm going to stop. He's in flip-flops, hanging out. Those kids are going to be talking about that moment until they're adults. They are the dads themselves, parents themselves, grandparents, the rest of their lives. That moment. And that's the stuff that I think we as a sports society really need to highlight more of. To really focus more on stuff like that. The positive sides of stories to see that. That's one of the coolest things I've seen, I think, in the sports world in a long time. And I honestly would like to see that probably even talked about more. Because when I'm on ESPN right now, it's not a top headline. I get it. You got the Stanley Cup final last night. You got it. You got soccer starting to get ready. You got, Wemby avoids a flagrant foul for shoving Brunson. I get it. There's other stuff here. But I don't know. Come on. Let's maybe give that one a little bit more attention too. I think that's a cool thing. You know, remember the roots, right? Okay, we got to take a quick break. I went a little long there, so we got to play a little catch up. We'll be back to wrap up the second hour. But hit me up with the soccer question, the World Cup question. Is this something that you're really going to be following, or you're like, nah, or you're kind of mildly into it? And if you are into it, I'd be curious, like, is this something that you go to a local establishment, or do you just stay home or such? I want to know the level of enthusiasm for the World Cup in our listening area, knowing the deep-rooted soccer community that is here. All right, so let me know. Quick break. We'll be back after these few words. Summer is here, baby, and that means it is time to hit the road in something that you love. At Toyson Ford, you will find a great selection of new and pre-owned vehicles ready for every adventure. Looking for power, comfort, reliability? They've got it all, backed by a team that's committed to making your car buying experience easy and stress-free. So whether it's a weekend getaway or your daily drive, make sure you're riding in style this summer. Toyson Ford in Chippewa Falls, where your next journey begins. And speaking of Toyson Ford, the Eau Claire Express will be back at it tonight. They picked up a win last night. And then tomorrow is our first Tailgate Thursday at the Eau Claire Express game. So we're going to be posted up with the card collecting club. So if you got some kiddos, all right, have them stop over. We'll be at the parking lot around 5:30, set it up. We'll have the mobile man cave set up, So first of all, big thanks to our mobile man cave partners out there, Toyson Ford, Hy-Vee in Eau Claire, Carpet City Flooring Center, Service Master, Chippewa Valley, Superior Auto Body, SC Swiderski, and the VFW Post at 305. But around 5:30, bring the kiddos, and Brian from the Card Collecting Club is going to hand out some free cards to some kids. And while supplies last, I still have a few tickets left for that game. So if you want some tickets for tomorrow night's game, you can stop on by. Or if you want them now, and you can stop by the station today or tomorrow before the game between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m., hit me up with a text. Say, ticket me, man. Ticket me. So should be a fun night. Looking forward to the Express game tomorrow for our first Tailgate Thursday. All right. Shot clock's going to cut me off, so we're going to kick off the next hour. Continue to send me some what-ifs, but we'll kick off the next hour with our next 10 for our top 250. So also looking for, if you are you a World Cup fan? Are you geeked up? Are you excited for the World Cup? Are you going to be watching? You're going to be following? You're going to be paying attention? And is this something that you go to? Where do you go to watch? Are you going somewhere to watch, or you just stay home, or what's it like? Is this kind of like a party? I really want to know, because I know this area is very rooted in local soccer, but when it's the World Cup, what's it like? Because I might want to go check out some places. I might want to hop in that mobile man cave and check out some places. So give me some tips. Give me some ideas. Where should I go to experience some World Cup fanism? All right. Hit me up. 2 in. We got 2 more to go. Quick break. We'll be back after these news updates. All right, here we go. The third hour kicks off right now. Thanks for hanging out with us and making us a part of your start on this Wednesday morning of June 10th. We'll get back to some more baseball talk as we get set for Brewers taking on the Athletics tonight, 8:05 first pitch. Coverage will begin at 7:30 on your radio dials of 105.1 FM and 790 AM. Give me your thoughts. Give me your takes on the Brewers locking up another minor league player for the foreseeable future, Luis Lara. Luis Lara getting a deal. So who do you think maybe that means, so-and-so's in trouble? Is it Garrett Mitchell, do you think? So we'll get back to that. It is a What If Wednesday. Give me some what if scenarios. So when you give me a what if scenario, I want you to answer your what if scenario too. And once I throw it out there to others, I want others to answer these what if scenarios. I want others to throw that out there too. All right. What do you got for me? So we've got Brandon Wolf saying, what if Brandon Bostic used his hands instead of his helmet on the onside kick versus Seattle? Do the Packers defeat the Patriots in the Super Bowl? All right. What do you got? Let me know. Send them on over. So, all right. Let's continue our countdown here, shall we? Let's continue our countdown here for our top 250. The next 10 moments on here in sports history. All right. Now this is a mixture of plays. Okay, this is going to be a mixture of plays and moments. So, first off, if you've missed, what is going on here with my computer? I'm sorry, I don't know if it's like storming or something like that, but my computer's being glitchy and it's distracting me. So, all right, here we go. Reset it. Refocus. If you have missed any of our previous moments in our 250 countdown, you can catch them on the Man Cave podcast. We've uploaded all those segments up there, so you can go back to it. Again, this is not a ranking. I'm not saying this is the best and this is 250. This is just a list I created on my own of the 250 moments, people, coaches, games, players, etc. when it comes to when you define sports in America in the last 250 years. So this is just, again, in my opinion, for our next 10, if I don't say something or say, maybe I already did, I probably will later on if I haven't. So don't yell at me. If you're like, how do you not know? It's probably coming up or I already said it. So with this next 10 again, it's a combination of plays and best way I can say is moments. And you'll understand when I get to them. So let's continue this. We've already done some plays here, but here's kind of the next grouping. Again, I don't rank them. Like this isn't second tier or anything. It's just whatever order I decide to go into at that point in time. I'm going to go, so since we were talking soccer a little bit ago, I think when you talk about moments in sports history in America, when you talk about soccer, I think for one of them, you got to go to Brandy Chastain and, the goal. I mean, I was a kid when it happened, 13 years old in the World Cup, Women's World Cup, when she scored that penalty kick, scoring the deciding penalty against China to clinch the World Cup title for Team USA in the Rose Bowl. Removed the jersey. It was on the cover, I believe, of Sports Illustrated and such. The celebration. I mean, it's an iconic moment, and it's an iconic play. And again, I didn't watch the game. I wasn't a soccer fan as a kid. But you knew about it. It was all over the place. And when you talk about specifically moments in American sports history in the last 250 years, this is one of them easily up at the top of the list. Getting that goal on U.S. soil. And it's a play, it's an image that continues to live on in history and will continue to live on in history. And is it, dare I say, I shouldn't say dare I say, because I think it probably is legit, but is it the most iconic soccer, USA soccer play, image, moment in its history? If it's not, it's got to be close up there, right? So, got to put that one on there. One more soccer one here. On the men's side, I'm going to go Landon Donovan's goal in the 91st minute in the 2010 FIFA World Cup. Donovan struck the ball, securing a 1-0 victory, first place in Group C. Now, this one I remember a little bit, and a lot of it was also, too, because of the call from broadcaster Ian Dark saying, go, USA. The cultural impact of this thing, there was a lot of people kind of ran with the narrative that it saved America's World Cup. And it was a massive turning point for mainstream soccer popularity in the United States. Landon Donovan, he is, again, wasn't the biggest soccer fan as a younger person, but you knew who Landon Donovan was. Okay, I wasn't a big time soccer follower, but I knew who Landon Donovan was. The popularity, the talent. When you get to those type of players or athletes, and we've talked about it constantly, when you're maybe not a big fan, but you know who they are and you know what they've done, you'd want to talk about the cultural impact that they've had on the sport. That's kind of Landon Donovan's in there too. And this was an iconic moment and an iconic play. And a lot of it had to do too with I think one of the more legendary calls, go USA. So, let's go for the next one here. So I did a couple of soccer ones here. Let's move to, I got to cross it off so I don't do double ups here. So I did Brandy on there, and then the Landon Donovan one. Let's do a couple baseball ones, couple World Series walk-offs. How about Joe Carter's walk-off in the World Series? Going up against the Phillies, walk-off win in the World Series. I mean, there's some good walk-off World Series walk-off plays, World Series plays, home runs in the World Series. There's going to be another one coming up here that we haven't mentioned yet, but it's the 93 World Series. The walk-off championship-winning 3-run blast that Joe Carter hit off Phillies pitcher Mitch Williams, helping secure back-to-back World Series titles for the Toronto Blue Jays. It was the bottom of the ninth inning. The Blue Jays trailed 6-5 with runners on first and second. How about this? Ricky Henderson, Paul Molitor. You had Devin White who flied out, but Henderson walked, Paul Molitor singled. And then you get Joe Carter up there. Goes over the left field wall at the Sky Dome. It marked only the second time in Major League Baseball history that a World Series ended on a walk-off home run. Bill Mazeroski in 1960, which, just saying, that might be coming up here too. But I think for a lot of people, for a lot of our listeners, you might have been watching that game. You might be remembering that one. Or you can still replay the highlights. It's one of those that I can just remember and think about and not have to, I don't remember. I got to go on YouTube and watch it. Nope, it replays rent-free in my head. the Joe Carter walk-off home run in Game 6. When you get that's like every kid's dream too, right? Whether you were a baseball fan as a kid or a sports fan as a kid, that's got to be one of your dreams. You're in the backyard, or you're playing against your friends, or you're by yourself in the backyard. We've all had to have done this. I do it. Hudson does it. You know, you toss the ball up to yourself. You got the bat, and you're pretending like so-and-so is up to pitch, like Roger Clemens in the pitch, Ken Griffey Jr.'s up or something, and you're pretending, or you're like, and, you know, Dan Kasper's up to hit, and walk-off home run. That's what kids dream of in the backyards, and Joe Carter was able to do that. How flipping cool is that? To say that you hit a walk-off home run in a World Series clinching game. That's what dreams are made of. That's why it's also an iconic play in American history, American sports history. Another one, Carlton Fisk's 1975 World Series home run. Game 6 of the World Series. Boston Red Sox, Carlton Fisk. Walk-off home run against the Reds at Fenway Park to force Game 7. It was a 12th inning home run, too, to help the Red Sox to a 7-6 win, to tie the series at 3 games apiece. And a lot of people, you want to debate it or not, but a lot of people consider that to be the best World Series game ever played. That's for some people. Now, I get it's a debate, it's a conversation, it's a good man cave bar stool conversation. The Reds did end up defeating the Red Sox in Game 7 the following night. But it's still Carlton Fisk, an iconic image in play, moment in baseball history. To go feed off of that, I have to bring it up because you feel bad, but since we're talking Red Sox, you got to go 86 World Series and Bill Buckner. You got to put that one in there because I don't think you could tell the history of baseball without mentioning the 86 World Series, the drought that the Red Sox were in, and the boot at first, the ball going between his legs. It was, we could probably, I was just born, so I was a baby when this happened. So, but I can still replay the image in my head. I would love to know from people who actually watched this live, like, what was the reaction? Like, what was your personal reaction? So, with 2 outs, here's the situation. With 2 outs, 1 on base, the Mets, the New York Mets struck back with 3 straight singles, tied the game on a wild pitch. Mookie Wilson fouled off several pitches before hitting a slow roller to Buckner at first base. Aware of Wilson's speed, Buckner tried to rush the play. As a result, the ball rolled to the left side of his glove, through his legs, and into shallow right field, allowing Ray Knight to score the winning run from second base. Had Buckner fielded the ball with Wilson safe at first, the score would have remained tied for the next Mets batter. Had Buckner put out Wilson at first base, Game 6 would have gone to an 11th inning. So Boston led Game 7 by a score of 3-0, heading into the bottom of the 6th when the Mets rallied again, scoring 3 runs. And the Mets also ended up going to win the World Series. So, but Bill Buckner, you mentioned those 2 names. No matter how old or how young you are, you probably know the story. You probably know the play. It's an image that lives in our sports memory. So you got to throw that one in there. And then I guess on the same breath, you got to throw Steve Bartman. with the Cubs. 2003. Cubs, Marlins. For a lot of us, that's more recent. A lot of us maybe experienced that more. But we remember it, right? Game 6 of the NLCS. Cubs, Marlins. Cubs led the game 3-0 in the best of 7 series, and the best of 7 series games 3-2. They were 5 outs away from reaching the World Series for the first time since 1945. Luis Castillo was at bat for the Marlins. Steve Bartman sitting in the front row along the left field corner wall. Pop up foul ball. Moises Alou approached the ball, jumped and reached for the ball. Bartman, one of several fans who attempted to catch the ball. As Bartman attempted to catch the ball, his hand slapped the ball, deflecting it away from Moises Alou's glove. Moises Alou slammed his glove down in frustration, shouted at several fans. We know the rest of the story. Right? We know the rest of it. Marlins end up going to the World Series. There's 30 for 30s made of this story. Bartman goes into hiding, right? I mean, that's a story. That's an image. It's a sad one for Cubs fans, a good one for Marlins fans. It's a sad one for Bartman, but it's a moment in sports history that is a part of, if you ever wrote the book of history of American baseball, you got to throw that one in there. So how many are we at here? Let me do a quick check here. So we got, we did 2 soccer, we did Bill Buckner, we did Steve Bartman, we did two World Series home runs. So let's do a couple more kind of moments here. I think, okay, I'll do a play here first. The Tiger chip-in the 05 Masters. Let's mix it up and throw a golf one in here. The Tiger chip-in the 05 Masters. I remember watching this one live. I was in college. I was a freshman in college, wrapping up my freshman year. And I'm at my desk in my apartment. My TV's right to the right of me. Like, it was a very small apartment. Desk was in the living room. Right next to it. I mean, I could touch it with my hand. That close. And I'm watching the Masters. I'm a Tiger. I'm a Tiger Woods fan. Working on, obviously, probably a paper or something. So I watch the chip, and I see it stop. I'm like, oh, dang. So I go back to type in. All of a sudden, the loud roar in it, and I turn around, and I missed it live. I thought the ball had stopped. For a split second, I turned my head to go back to working on a paper, and then that play. It is one of the most iconic golf images, plays in its history. The camera work, Vern on the call, Tiger's reaction, it being Tiger Woods, it being the Masters, the stop of the ball for a split second, the Nike logo on there, for crying out loud. It couldn't have worked any better from a marketing standpoint. And then Tiger wins the Masters. Easily one of the best, most iconic, awesome shots in golf history and in sports history. All right, so let's do this. This is where it's not necessarily a play, but it's a moment. I should have done this when we were in baseball. So I'll go back to baseball here really quick because I did want to bring this one up. But it was the same year. Like 04. Well, I shouldn't say same year, but 04. The Red Sox come back against the Yankees in the ALCS. Down 3-0. I remember watching every single game that year of that, or every single playoff game in that series. And that was also I was a freshman in college. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get on this train. I'm going to get on this bandwagon. I went out and bought myself a Boston Red Sox hat from Shields. Like, I'm going to be a Boston Red Sox fan because that was like the cool thing to do. John Damon, David Ortiz, Manny Ramirez, Kurt Schilling, Tim Wakefield, Pedro, that group. It's like, yeah, I'm going to be a Boston fan. Can't stand the Yankees. So I'm going to wear that B hat. A friend of mine was a Boston fan. He always wore a Boston hat. So I'm like, I'm going to be like that too. And then they go down 3-0. You get the bloody sock, right? You get all that with Curt Schilling. The comeback to win 4 in a row. To take down your arch rival. That, to me, is like one of the peaks of that rivalry between the Red Sox and the Yankees. And remember, like Aaron Boone's walk-off home run, too, and the year prior, Game 7 to knock out the Red Sox. Red Sox come back 3-0 to take down the Yankees to advance to the World Series, and they win the World Series. I remember watching those games, and I was kind of falling back in love with baseball for a hot minute watching some of that. But, man, it's like never happened before. Down 3-0? No way are you going to win 4 in a row. Like Pedro said, the Yankees are my daddy. They came back and got that thing done. I loved watching that series. So it's not necessarily just one game. It's that whole series. It's everything that was kind of involved in it, right? The bloody socks and the comebacks. I mean, even Dave Roberts with him, running the bases and stealing bases and such. So many good players in that series too. All right, so I got to do a quick. We're at 1, 2. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8. Am I only at 8? I thought I did 9. Let's do one more. 1, 2. We did Carlton Fisk. We did Tiger. We did Red Sox. We did Landon Donovan. We did. Okay, so we did. Okay, I just lost track again. So we did Tigers chip in. We did Carlton Fisk. We did Brandy. We did the Red Sox. We did Landon. We did Joe Carter. We did Bill Buckner. We did Cubs. Okay, so I do only have 2 more. Let's go. I'm going to put this in there for another moment. The LeBron decision. As annoying as it was, and as annoying as it is to think back on it, his decision to leave the Cleveland Cavaliers to go to the Miami Heat, it was a big deal. And I still remember this. We were at a slow-pitch softball league game in Dorchester, Wisconsin. And it was that night he was going to make his decision. We were all like trying to make predictions. And I said, he's going to the Heat to pair up with D-Wade. And everyone was like, oh, no, they're going to do this, going to do that. And he went to the Heat with D-Wade. But it was like everybody was checking their phones. And this was like before like phones are now, right? But you're trying to figure this out. You're trying to like figure out where and, what's the update and that. And then you see the video afterwards. And now you kind of think back on it. And shortly after you think back on it, I was like, that was kind of lame and kind of over the top. I've decided to take my talents to South Beach. We haven't seen anything like it since. And then the hoopla after that. I mean, you had the KD thing where he writes into Players Tribune that he's going to Golden State. So, but it's something that we will remember. And it's something that's going to live in sports history is the decision. The decision from LeBron at the Boys and Girls Club. Taking my talents to South Beach. Going to the Miami Heat. Pairing up with D-Wade. Chris Bosh. And then just to kind of feed off that one too, I'm combining this one, but the Jordan retirement and comeback. Jordan retiring. I remember that. I remember actually finding out on the news when his father passed away. I was at my grandma's house. I still remember that. Then I remember the retirement, the baseball run. And now you kind of think about it, it's like, man, Jordan was at his peak, won 3 championships. No other athlete's doing that, retiring and going to go try another sport when they're in their prime. And then when he came back, I remember to this day playing the Indiana Pacers, my aunt calling me and saying, hey, Jordan's coming back. I mean, the facts I'm back. I mean, all that stuff. This all is included in this. Hey, turn this game on. Michael Jordan is making his comeback. He's playing. I'm like, oh, okay. At that time, I knew who Michael Jordan was, but I didn't know who Michael Jordan was. You know what I mean? Like, you know who he is. You know he's a good player, but young, immature Dan didn't really know who he was. But I got to know really quick, and I remember watching that whole game. I mean, it was on NBC anyway, so I was an NBA and NBC fan to begin with. But the whole Jordan retirement and then come back and winning 3 more championships, come on, that's sick. You just kind of wonder if he didn't retire. 7, 8 total championships. So, all right, that's the latest 10 in our top 250 sports stories, moments in American history. Whew. What are we at now? Like 170 left? Oh, going by fast. All right, let's take a quick break. Got to play a little catch up. We'll be back after these few words. Don't forget to get your two-person team signed up right now for the 6th annual Kasper Classic coming your way Friday, August 7th at Lake Hallie Golf Course. Just head to our website, sportstalk1051.com, WAYYradio.com, and get your two-person team signed up. We've got spots opened in the 1 p.m. and 7:30 a.m. flight for just $90. This is a heck of a deal to golf 9 holes, get your cart, get a meal, get a couple bev tickets, get some gifts, some swag and stuff. It's $90 for your team. So if you want to divide it, you the buddy, each person's $45. That's it. That is it. Can't ask for a better deal than that. So get to our website before it is sold out, because we've sold out every single year. If you are interested in maybe becoming a hole sponsor or donating a raffle prize, because 100% of the proceeds go to help Backyard Dreams, please reach out and I'll put you in contact with the proper people. But again, you can learn more by heading to our website at sportstalk1051.com. It's right on the homepage there. You might have scrolled down just a little bit, but you'll see the Kasper Classic icon on the home page. So, Surveyor, as I said, every 10 of the top 250 are up in podcasts. So you can listen to every podcast and then write down the ones that you hear so you can keep track. Got to listen to every one there, dude. That's what I'm going to make you do, especially if once you said that you were going to critique it and criticize maybe who I missed on there. So I thought we had another what if. Was it on the video stream maybe? No, we did the Brandon Bostic one too. Boy, do they beat the Patriots? I'm going to say no. I might say no on that one. But I'd hope I'd be wrong. So, what else? What other what ifs do you got for this What If Wednesday, brought to you by Superior Auto Body? Send them on over. We'll have some fun with this. And you can, and remember, when I throw out those what ifs, I want you to answer it, and I want everybody else to answer it too. Okay? That's the name of the game. Let's go back to a little Packers chat here, because we did have a little bit of practice yesterday. So we had comments from Jordan Love. We had comments from Christian Watson, Matt LaFleur, et cetera, et cetera. So this was from Matt Schneidman, who covers the Packers. Jordan Love was asked for one thing that he's working on right now. And Jordan's response was this, quote, "My biggest thing that I've noticed since I got back is just my feet in the pocket, trying to be as smooth and consistent as possible. When I go through my reads, get into my hitches, and not getting antsy, not getting to that point where you're trying to move through the pocket too fast. Just staying calm, staying relaxed, moving through my reads. If I've got to move around in the pocket, keeping those movements pretty tight and not kind of running into where guys might be peeling off and able to hit you. So just really trying to focus on my feet, my pocket movements. Obviously, I think all those things are tied to accuracy and just timing of routes and things like that. So just trying to be as dialed in as possible. That's the biggest thing I have been trying to work on so far." And honestly, when I saw that quote, it's like, then you kind of go back to some of the plays and you think about some of the plays from last year, maybe the year before, some of the throws where it's like, yeah, maybe he did get a little antsy. Like I'm envisioning some of like his jump throws and such, but I think every quarterback every year almost should always work on continuing to get better or continuing to excel at their pocket presence and such. I think if memory serves me correct, we kind of talked about it a lot last year, and really threw in there was the offensive line, with him not being able to get a ton of protection all the time, or the inconsistencies of the offensive line. Did that lead to some of the issues and such? So Christian Watson also talked a little bit about his new contract. And, well, let's play a little bit of an audio clip. This is from Kelly Haynen from NBC at 26 in Green Bay. So let me pod that up here. This was Christian Watson yesterday in the locker room.
Christian, how special is it knowing that you're locked in, but also that Jaden is locked in, and knowing that you guys can kind of be together these next couple of years?
It means the world to me, honestly. Just obviously, Jay Love locked in, Jay Reed locked in, MG locked in for the next couple of years. Hopefully, 8-5 over there will be locked in too. Just to have kind of just the foundation of our offense locked in for the next couple of years. I think will be huge for us just in terms of finding consistency in our offense and. Just having those, go-to guys available for the long term, I think will definitely be big for us in the flow of our offense.
You laughed when you looked over at Tucker Soccer. You know something that you want to share with us?
No, honestly, I don't. I'm trying to put it out. I'm trying to put it out in the air. Try to speak it into existence, and hopefully sooner rather than later.
All right, again, so that was Christian Watson, and I think he speaks for a lot of Packers fans, hoping that Tucker Kraft is the next one to get that contract extension. So, yeah, I thought it's gonna happen at some point. I think we're and it's probably been like this for a while now, but we are easily at the point, I think, that we would be surprised more than anything if Tucker Kraft doesn't get that contract extension. So Lucas Van Ness also talked a little bit yesterday. And what did he have to say, about Micah Parsons? Again, last year we heard Micah Parsons singing the praises of Lucas Van Ness. And Van Ness was talked about that again. This is audio courtesy from Ryan Wood.
Heard another teammate verbally, publicly support another one more than Micah has with you. You see the comments that he says about his belief in you, and what does it mean for a player like that to be so vocal in what he thinks you can be?
Yeah, I think more than anything, I think it just speaks to the character that Micah has and the type of man he is. He's always gonna, root for the guys in his corner, in his room, and obviously he's done that. And we've had some conversations, but I've learned a lot from Micah over the past year. He's taught me a lot about how I can, improve and work on my game. And he's just a really good dude, really good guy, and a good guy to have in my corner.
There you go. So not the greatest audio, but again, singing the praises of Micah and how Micah really has taken Lucas Van Ness under his wing, and this goes back to last year too. So, and Lucas Van Ness, from all accounts, I know this is just in shorts and such, but apparently Lucas Van Ness has been having some good practices out there. But got to see it on the game when the games matter, right? In the games that count, in full on pads. That's when we got to see it. So, okay, we got to take another quick break here. Playing a little behind, but that's okay. So we'll be right back after these few words. Summer means road trips, cookouts, and family fun. And Eau Claire and Hy-Vee can help you save every step of the way. Stock up on groceries, snacks, beverages, and everything you need for summer adventures. Plus, with Hy-Vee Fuel Saver Rewards, the more you shop, the more you can save at the gas pump. Get ready for summer while stretching your budget further. Hy-Vee in Eau Claire, where there is a helpful smile in every aisle. And don't forget to check out this week's ad so you can save, including, well, $4.99 Hy-Vee Choice Reserve Bacon Wrapped Beef Sirloin Fillets. If you want maybe some ice cream for the kiddos because it's going to be a little bit warm out there. $3.99 Breyer's Ice Cream Quarts. You've got $6.48 Hy-Vee. The Hy-Vee We All Scream Ice Cream Gallon, $6.48 for a gallon, $2.99 Doritos Ruffles bags of chips with a purchase of 2, and a boatload of other stuff going on over there. As always, just follow the Hy-Vee Facebook page. All right, Hy-Vee Facebook page for the latest and greatest deals and events going on at Hy-Vee in Eau Claire too. I mean, you've got a local vendor fair, all right, coming up tomorrow at Hy-Vee from 3 to 7 p.m. where you can sample products from over 15 local vendors. Sample some food and beverages and see what Eau Claire has to offer for your perfect Wisconsin summer. And put this on the calendar too. Father's Day steak cutting event happening Friday, June 19th from 4 to 7 p.m. Saturday, June 20th from 11 to 3 p.m. Sunday, 11 to 3 p.m. on June 21st. Their expert butchers will custom slice premium high-quality steaks exactly how Dad likes them. See, a lot of stuff happening at Hy-Vee in Eau Claire. Again, I'm a little behind here, so I got to take another break coming up here in just a skosh. But coming up in the next hour, I want to throw this question out here too. Is Matt Arnold and the Brewers playing chess while everybody else is maybe playing checkers? With this whole, you got Luis Lara signing, Cooper Pratt signing. We know about Jackson from a couple of years ago. Matt Arnold playing chess when everybody else is kind of playing maybe some checkers here at this point. Want to touch on that coming up a little bit more in the next hour. So we'll hit that up. I want to know, kind of an informal poll question here too. How pumped, excited, how much are you looking forward to the World Cup starting? Is this appointment viewing for you? And do you go anywhere? Because I might hop into Mobile Man Cave and maybe partake in some of these watch parties if they're at some local establishments and such. So where do you go? All right, where do you go for this thing? I want to know. Just hit me up with a text or hit us up on the Section 105 chat room, okay? Send me more what ifs. Give me a sports scenario. What if? Had some good ones so far this morning. So keep those coming. All right, keep them coming. I like it. I like it a lot. So you guys got some good ones out there. Really makes you think, wonder about that one. Oh, what about that scenario? What about that? We've got Game 4 of the NBA Finals, pivotal Game 4. So it was crucial Game 3 because the Knicks were up 2-0. Is now pivotal. Knicks can be up 3-1, or the Spurs can tie this thing up and get back to San Antonio. So pivotal Game 4 tonight. Last night, it was a pivotal Game 4 in the Stanley Cup Final, and Carolina picking up the win to even up that series now at 2 apiece. Oh, that thing is shaping up to go a full-on 7, I think. So, okay, like I said, I do have to take another break here before the top of the hour. So, let me know your thoughts. Do you think Matt Arnold and the Brewers are playing chess while everybody else is kind of playing checkers with some of their roster construction? Do you like, maybe this is the best way to ask this, do you like the Brewers' philosophy of signing these, let's face it, unproven players to long-term deals? They did it with Freddie. That worked. Ashby, they did it with him. He dealt with some injuries, but now I think he's carved out a role. Jackson Churio. We've got a couple years of his play under our belts. Cooper and now Luis. Do you like that they keep rolling the dice on this? Or do you not like that philosophy? Or maybe you feel like this is the only way the Brewers can compete. What are your thoughts on this? I want to hit this up coming up in the next hour, okay? All right, we'll take a quick break, and we'll be back in just a couple minutes. Summer is the season for golf, softball, pickleball, running, staying active. But hey, aches and pains, they can quickly slow you down, man. That's where Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine comes in. Their experienced team helps weekend warriors and athletes of all ages get back to doing what they love with expert care and treatment options designed to keep you moving. Play more, hurt less. Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Get started today by visiting cvosm.com. Okay, we only got a couple minutes left to the top. So, again, you can send me some more what-ifs, and I'll throw out to the rest of the listeners to kind of get their input and such. But did I miss any? No, I did. Surveyor said a little bit earlier about World Cup. I love the World Cup, and I am going to follow every game, and I'm just watching at home. But like the Olympics, this only happens every 4 years. I love watching the different countries celebrate and what traditions they have. And it's an opportunity to bring the world together for a common element and enjoy a passion billions of people have for soccer. And then earlier, Dan had said, not at all, I'm not going to watch soccer until the referees and announcers start calling players out for obvious flopping. Unfortunately, I think we have that a lot in not just soccer, basketball, of course, even in football, I would say. Certain quarterbacks, just throwing that out there. So that happens a lot. I don't know. You can what's the baseball version of flopping? What would be the baseball version of flopping? It's got to be something from a batter, right? Is there even a version of that? I don't know. I don't know if there is. But what would be that version? Help me out. I feel like there's an easy one there that's right for the taking, and I don't know what it is. All right, shot clock's going to cut me off. Kickoff next hour, we're going to talk some more baseball. Brewers. It's Matt Arnold playing chess, and the rest of Major League Baseball is just playing checkers. Do you like the philosophy that the Brewers are clearly doing right now in terms of extending younger players, not proven players? They're rolling the dice, and they're taking a risk. Do you like it or not? Or the third option is this is what they got to do. This is the hand they're dealt. 3, and we got one more to go. Quick break. We'll be back after these news updates. All right, here we go. Final hour on this Wednesday morning, making the turn Wednesday. Thanks for hanging out with us. Appreciate it. However you're tuning in, wherever you're tuning in from. Brewers back at it tonight, 8:05, series finale against the A's. Got Brandon Sproat on the mound. First pitch, 8:05. Coverage will begin again on your radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM, 30 minutes prior, so 7:30 tonight. Brewers yesterday, though, before the game, locking up another youngster, Luis Lara, to a 7-year deal. He got some club options after that, too. $31 million, but it could get up to a max about $85. Realistic, they're saying maybe about $60 to $70 million, depending on escalators and different things that he could potentially accomplish during his playing career. So, I know I wasn't the only one maybe surprised because, well, first off, you get trade talk coming up, and we got a little bit yet till the trade deadline, but his name was mentioned as some potential trade packages, maybe to bring in whether it was a Scooble or something like that. But now that they've locked him up, my question was, okay, whose job is in trouble then? Because when you lock up Cooper Pratt, it's like, okay, Joey Ortiz, you're gone. You're going to be gone here soon. David Hamilton isn't a long-term fixture at short. So now that you lock up another outfielder, because you got Jackson Chourio, that's locked in. Sure seems like now Jackson's probably going to be the long-term left fielder. Whose job is up for grabs, or whose job is in trouble? Well, it's Garrett Mitchell or Sal Frelick. And given that Lara is a center fielder right now, and I know things could change, but given that he's a pretty darn good defensive center fielder and his bat has made some big-time strides and has showcased some power this year, even though he's a little smaller, 5'7", I think 5'7", that fits the Brewers mold here. It maybe signals that Garrett Mitchell's job may be on the line. And if that is the case, you got to wonder that, is Garrett Mitchell on the trading block? Could Garrett Mitchell be involved in any potential trades? If I were to make a complete wager guess, I think a Garrett Mitchell trade is something that happens in the offseason. Like we saw with Isaac Collins, like we saw with Caleb Durbin, that type of thing. I that's where I think we're going to see that happen. Yeah, sure. Part of it, too, is I don't want Sal Frelick traded. I get that. I understand that. So I might be a little bit biased in that. I completely understand that, if that's what you're thinking. But regardless, whether it's a Mitchell or a Frelick, I don't think a trade is going to happen this year involving one of those players, considering the spot that the Brewers are in. But I could definitely see it next year. Could definitely see it next year in the offseason. So this is another deal now that the Brewers have made, extending an unproven player. I think that's fair to say, an unproven major league player. Maybe that's the best way to say it, because Luis has been playing really well at AAA this year. But we don't know if that's going to transition at the major league level. Just like we don't know if that's going to transition for Cooper Pratt. Jackson Chourio, when he was signed, there was a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of excitement, potential. Didn't play AAA. Got a chance right away, but there was still a risk involved. They did it with Freddie. They did it with Aaron Ashby. And now the Brewers are doing it at a little bit of a quicker pace here. So, I want to throw it out to you, Brewers fans. Do you like this plan that the Brewers are employing right now of locking up minor leaguers with a huge potential And when we say that too, like they're doing this and they're hoping that they're going to get them by on the cheap, that these players are going to hit their marks, like Freddie Peralta did. Okay, Freddie Peralta was pitching probably, if he was on another team, he was a free agent before he got traded to the Mets. Like last year, the year before, let's say he was a free agent, he probably would have gotten a huge deal for over $20-some million. He's probably still going to get a huge deal. Brewers were getting a bargain compared to a lot of other stuff. You could say what you want about Freddie, and he'll only go 5 or 6 innings, but market-wise, he would have gotten a bigger deal than what he had signed with the Brewers. Was it a risk for the Brewers? 100%, because he might not have panned out. Was it a risk for Freddie though too? Because hey, what if you outpitch that? Then you're not getting your money. 100%, but it also got guaranteed money. So you can make cases for each side. But is it fair to say there is a bigger risk from the Brewer side of things by doing this? I think so. I think it's a bigger risk from the Brewer side because they don't have empty pockets where they could just that sign didn't work, whatever. They don't. They have a budget. And if it doesn't work out with these 7-8 year deals that they're handing out to these players, that's a hit. It's a bigger hit than it would be for a team like the Dodgers, Yankees, Mets, whatever. There's protection for the team because a lot of it is incentives and they got to hit those escalators and such. But I still think it's a bigger risk for the team because we're not seeing these guys at the major league level. We don't know if they're going to pan out. They're not proven yet at the major league level, like a lot of free agents out there. All right, they get their big deals after having a few good years at the major league level, and they cash in. And we know the Brewers, once in a while, they'll sign a Christian Yelich to a big deal or a Ryan Braun. But then what happens? Ryan Braun's hurt and maybe not playing up to the level of that contract. Christian Yelich gets hurt. And I don't know if that's what really kind of derailed the trajectory of his career. But his first 2 years was just like, oh, wow. I'd be curious to see if the Brewers ever do another long-term deal for a player on their roster that has had some major success. And that the guys I'm kind of thinking about right now is like a Bryce Terang. Would they sign Bryce Terang to a long-term deal, considering what happened to like the Brian Brauns and the Christian Yeliches and such? Or are they going to be like, you know what? Those guys deserve those deals at those times, but for us, maybe that's not the best way to go about our business anymore. And we're going to focus on locking up younger talent for the long term and hope that we kind of get by with bargains, that they reach that potential and that those are bargains. It's a philosophy, and we're going to see if it works. Right now, early returns on Jack Cichuria, would you say it's kind of working? Yeah, he was banged up, but I mean, he's a special player. We've seen some great moments with him. I don't know if I'd classify him as superstar, but I feel like the last 3 years now, a lot of people have been saying superstar in the waiting, and he's still incredibly young. And that's the thing, like Lara's only 21 years old too. So I get it, why the Brewers are doing this. And honestly, I'm just glad they have a plan, and they're executing that plan. They're not just sitting on their hands and kind of adding a veteran here for a 1-year deal or a 2-year deal and just kind of patching up a roster every year of players and just hoping that, hey, we'll see what happens. We got a couple of really good players. We got a good pitching staff, and then we're going to patch it up with some of these guys. They've got a different plan, and they've got a different philosophy, and that's where I'm glad that they have this vision that Matt Arnold or whoever's, I'm assuming Matt Arnold is the biggest say in this thing, but this is the vision they have, and they're going out there and attempting to execute this vision. It's a risk, but I'm glad that they're at least taking risks and trying to put together a team that they feel is the best way to compete in the current game of Major League Baseball, where money dictates so much about teams' successes. Not all of it, but a lot of it. So I like it in that aspect. Does that mean I'm not nervous? Heck no. Absolutely not, because the one thing we all don't want is in a couple of years or in a few years to be looking at these Cooper Pratt deals or these Lara deals and be like, oh my God, what a backbreaker, or those were bad deals. Can't believe they did. No. We want them to be like, yeah, Brewers got a bargain there. That's obviously what we want, and that's obviously what the Brewers want. But what I think a lot of these deals too, it's not only protection from the team where they include a lot of these incentives, but it's also for the player. Okay, hey, you're going to get some money now. But dude, you could double, maybe even triple the amount you're going to get if you keep doing the work. You keep putting in the work to get better. That's why we call it incentives. So it's not like you're handing a guy a 10-year, $200 million fully guaranteed contract. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, man, a little bit of a tail off. And I'm not accusing like Yelich, Braun, or any of those players. All right, they cashed in, and what's their motivation? What they got to play for? They got their money. The younger guys now, hey, you're getting some money now, but you want a little bit more? It's like putting the apple in front, or the carrot in front of the horse in the cart. It's like, hey, you want a little bit more? Well, yeah, here you go. Got to keep doing. Got to keep grinding. Got to keep working on your craft. Got to practice. Got to keep performing at a high level, and then you're going to get paid a lot more. This is what the Brewers are doing. They're putting that carrot out there. They're giving you a little bit of a taste. Ooh, that was good. I want more of that. All right, this is what you got to do. Help me help you. Help me help you. It's kind of the model, it feels like, for the Brewers at this point, for some of these players. I like the plan. I agree with the plan. I get the plan. I understand the plan. I'm also nervous about the plan. I hope it works out. It's a risk. But I think this is what the Brewers have to kind of do in this market, because I also feel the Brewers probably know, and I think a lot of people in Major League Baseball know this, that there's not going to be a salary cap. That is the one thing the players will not concede. And I totally get it from a player's perspective. Players don't want a salary cap. Players want to be able to get as much money as they possibly can. You put a salary cap on there, even the lowest level players, their salaries are going to go down. So salary cap doesn't just affect the highest paid players. Salary caps are going to affect lower paid players too. Why? Well, all right, you need to save some money. The higher players are still going to be the higher players, but at a lower rate. So then that means there's going to be less money available for maybe the next tier, and then the tier after that, and the tier after that. It's a trickle-down effect. So a lot of those players, veteran players, even though if they're not in the tier 1 of pay, they're going to suffer a little bit too. So that's why players don't want salary caps. They want to be able to cash in as much. So I get it. I understand that. And I understand and totally get why some teams do want salary caps. Stay competitive. Try to level the playing field in terms of spending power. Totally get why Major League Baseball wants a salary cap. That ball is in the players' hands. Major League Baseball can't force that issue. And unless Major League Baseball gives them an offer that is just absolutely ridiculous, that the Players Association would say, okay, yeah, we'll have a salary cap if we're getting that. I don't even know what that offer would be. 100% TV revenue, something crazy like that. That would just be dumb, but still, like, I don't know what that offer would be. It's easy for a lot of us as fans to say to do this, to do that, to do that. A a lot harder in real life situations and scenarios. So I think the Brewers know this. You know, we're talking about, man, what are like trades, what are negotiations, what are contracts going to look like with the upcoming new labor agreement and potential lockout. I think for the most part, the big question about salary caps, whether there's going to be a salary cap or not, I think teams know that there's not. Now, could there be a salary floor? I think there is. And I think teams know that too. And now you got the Brewers. What else are they doing here? They're okay. If they feel like there is going to be a spending floor, a salary floor, how are they going to spend that money? Well, tell you what, instead of maybe signing a veteran to a 2-year deal just so we can get to that floor, why not extend a bunch of our younger players, see what we got with them, and the potential could be high. We can maybe extend more of our younger players, have more committed to our roster, have more locked up than compared to, you might get like a 2-for-1, 3-for-1. Sign 3 of our younger players at the same rate of a total contract of maybe a veteran out there. Which way do you think the Brewers would rather do? It's going to be option 1. Let's sign up 2 or 3 players at the same rate as a veteran for like 1 year. I think we're kind of seeing that. I think we're kind of that. This is are the Brewers kind of playing chess right now? Game planning for those scenarios, forecasting for those scenarios. All right, there's not going to be a salary cap, but there's going to be a salary floor. Let's lock up a lot of our younger guys and build up that salary floor with those guys that we're going to have control over with for a long time. And the potential is going to be incredibly high for these guys. I think Jesus Mate is definitely going to be a part of that conversation. I think eventually he's going to get one of those deals. And the longer he plays, even though if it's in single A, the longer he plays at a high level or double A or wherever, the more that number is going to go up. I like this plan. I like this strategy. I think there's a bigger outlook to this strategy too. There's a bigger vision and plan in place. It comes with a lot of risks. So if you're willing to risk and take chances, go about it. And that's where I'm glad, again, that the Brewers are doing this and not just saying, yeah, we'll probably, do a couple signings here or there. Just, done are the days of, I don't want to see 1 year it's Yuneski Betancourt at short, then the next it's Alex Gonzalez, and it's just a rotation of rotations and rotations. Let's lock up some of these spots with younger players and just stabilize those positions. That's my thoughts, at least. So, all right, we got to take a quick break. Back with plenty more coming up after these few words. Summer cookout season is here, and nobody does summer grilling better than Mike's Star Market in Eau Claire. From premium steaks and fresh burgers to brats and chicken, you'll find quality and value throughout the store. So before your next cookout, stop by Mike's Star Market and stock up on the freshest ingredients around. You can visit them today at 2238 Heinstead Road, and make sure you're following their Facebook page too, because sometimes they'll have some special sales and last-second stuff posted up there. So Mike's Star Market in Eau Claire, helping make every summer gathering a memorable and delicious one. Oh. Here's a fun fact. This is kind of cool. I did not know this one. On this date in 2010, Omar Vizquel hit his 79th home run of his career, making him just the fourth player in MLB history to homer in 4 different decades. Those other 3, Ricky Henderson, Willie McCovey, and Ted Williams. Now that is a good nugget. That's a good nugget. Omar joining that group. Awesome. I love sports nuggets, facts like that. That's awesome. I like that. All right. So what are so we'll talk some more. We only got about a half hour. Man, time's flying on by here this morning. So, but what are some other what ifs out there? Throw out a sports take or scenario. What if? So let me just say this. Keep it from a Brewers perspective. You know, we were just talking about Lara and his new contract extension. Okay. What if the Brewers said that, all right, now that we've got Lara locked up, all right, now that they got him locked up, probably going to be the future center fielder. At least he's going to be paired up with Jackson Cherio in the outfield. Okay, those are 2 locks in the outfield, 2 absolute locks. What if the Brewers said that, all right, since we've locked up Lara, we need to trade one or the other. Well, we need to trade one of these guys. Excuse me, Garrett Mitchell, Sal Frelick. Who would that be? Who would you trade? Let's make the case for both. Garrett Mitchell probably has a little bit more pop potential than Sal Frelick. Garrett Mitchell has played center field. Garrett Mitchell, lefty too. Sal Frelick, lefty. Sal Frelick could play center. Sal Frelick, Gold Glove winner, right field. Probably a better arm. But do you prioritize? I think this is what it comes down to. If it's between Garrett Mitchell and Sal Frelick, do you prioritize power potential, pop potential? Because what are we talking about with this Brewers team right now? What a lot of people want to see. Pop, power. Garrett Mitchell was supposed to be that guy, that fill-in guy after Willie Adames left. That was what we were all talking about. Then he got hurt and kind of derailed it. I love Sal Frelick. He's my guy. But if we're going to say this team needs more power, would it behoove the Brewers to keep Mitchell over Frelick? Or do you value the defense that Frelick gives you in right field? That's what it's going to boil down to. So, just for kind of a random, fun question, the final half hour here. And I want you to text in, send a message, whatever. Okay? What if the Brewers all of a sudden say, okay, and this wouldn't happen, but it's for fun. What if they say, now we got to trade either Mitchell or Frelick? Who do we keep? They call you up and say, hey, yo, Steven, Scuba Steve, who should we trade? Who should we keep? Do we keep Mitchell or do we keep Frelick? You got to choose from power potential in Mitchell or defense, proven defense from Sal Frelick. But maybe you lack a little bit in offense. Is Sal Frelick's season this year at the plate a microcosm or an example of what's about to come? You know, we talk about the Brewers, I think, have done a fantastic job so far from like last year identifying, hey, Isaac Collins and Caleb Durbin may have hit above what their expectations. Well, Sal Frelick had a good season last year too. Do they feel like that so far this year is just, a little bit of a hiccup? It'll get there. Do they feel more confident? I think they do. But I think it still boils down to power. Do you want more power? Mitchell's got that possibility more so than what Frelick has. Or do you value the defense? What do you think? All right. Let's take a quick break. Hit me up, though, for our what ifs. All right? Hit me up. We'll take a quick break. Back with plenty more after these few words. Another reminder that tomorrow, the Express game at Carson Park taking on Badlands Big Sticks is our first Tailgate Thursday game. So get on down to the ballpark. We're going to be setting up the mobile man cave in the parking lot at about 5:30. For this one, if you bring the kiddos, Brian from the Card Collecting Club is going to be hanging out with us, and kiddos, while supplies last, we'll get some free cards from Brian. So stop by and get your ticket and hang out with us for a little bit. We're going to be sampling some of the new brew from for the Express too. So have some samples out there, and I'll have some sports talk swag and stuff to give away too. So hang out with us for a little bit before first pitch for tomorrow's Tailgate Thursday before the Eau Claire Express game. We got about 20 minutes left to the top of the hour here, so we'll get to picks coming up in the final segment this morning. But I want to, so Freddie Freeman got his 2,500 hit yesterday. He is the active leader in hits in Major League Baseball. Where is he on the all-time list? 102. So Freddie's at 102. Will he get to 3,000? By the way, can anybody name, just a quick trivia, can you name who's second on the active all-time hits list? Just for fun, can you name it? So Freddie is 36 years old. Can he get 500 more to get to that 3,000? If you look at his career, the most hits he's had in a season was in 2022, 211 was 2023. He averages on a 162 game average, it's about 181. So not going to play 162 games probably. So let's say 165 hits in a season. Can he do that for 4 more years, 3.5 more years? Do you think he gets to 300 or 3,000? You know what? I say he does. I say he will. And if he does get to 3,000, I mean, Roberto Clemente is right at 3,000. He's 33. Freddie Freeman is going to be a Hall of Famer regardless if he hits 3,000 hits or not. But I think that is still we talk about milestones in Major League Baseball and how some of it has changed. And maybe we'll never see like a 300-game winner again for starting pitchers. And I honestly don't feel like we're going to. I still think 3,000 hits is quite the benchmark. You know, football, we say 1,000 yards in a season, or it's like that's kind of, maybe kind of lowered down a little bit because so many people have done it or have done it higher than that. I don't know if, we've only seen 2 players obviously get over 4,000 hits, Pete Rose and Ty Cobb. I don't know if we're going to see it. I don't know if I'll ever see that in my lifetime. I think Freddie's going to get to 3,000 though. I do. Jose Altuve is the second, by the way. I know that was a quick trivia, but Jose Altuve is second on the active hitters list. He is 2,430. Next up looks like it's Andrew McCutchen at 2,280. Paul Goldschmidt, 2,229. Then you got Manny Machado, 2,109. I'm just kind of curious if, so Bryce Harper's on here. He's got 1,862. That's 371st. Trout, 1,807. That's tied for 402nd. Yelich is okay. I was looking for a Brewer. Yelich, 1,782, 421st all time. But Freddie Freeman's another one of those players. So even though he's with the Dodgers, I don't know. I feel like Major League Baseball, I think I threw this out a while ago. When you look at some of the superstar players and some of the best players in their league, I feel like Major League Baseball has the less me players, spotlight on me, attention. Not saying that there isn't any of those guys, but I mean, when you think about the Otanis and the Judges, Paul Skeens, those guys, I feel like they're likable guys. And 2 of those 3 play on big market teams, big spending teams that we're not supposed to like with the Yankees and the Dodgers, but they're so hard to not like. Just how they go about playing the game and how they go about their business. They're so dang likable. And I don't like that. I'm not supposed to like him. I'm not supposed to like Paul Skeens because he's on a division team. But gosh darn it, when I see a video of you going and hanging out just randomly, you're driving by and you hang out with a little league team and help out there at practice for 2 years or for 2 years, for 2 hours. You're sitting there wearing flip-flops and you're Paul Skeens and you're dedicating your time to do that. Gosh darn it, I like you. And I don't like saying that, but I like you. That's the good about sports, at least. That's a positive. As much as we kind of want to sit there, huge positive. Like, who is the most me person in Major League Baseball right now? You know, like Ricky Henderson always talked about himself in the third person and, you know, all that stuff. But who's the biggest me person in Major League Baseball at this point in time? NBA is filled with them. Just ask anybody who doesn't like the NBA why you don't, and that's going to be one of the reasons. Football, there's definitely some. I mean, you know, whether it's a wide receiver or a corner or maybe a quarterback, running back once in a while. I mean, there's me guys in there. I would say maybe more so the wideouts, corner. Those positions have probably the most trash talking, and as long as they back it up, I mean, yeah. But who's the biggest me person in baseball? And give me a reason why, because I feel some people are going to say maybe like a Ellie De La Cruz or O'Neal Cruz, or I'm just trying to think of some players. I don't know. Kind of blanking a little bit. Okay, we got to take our final break here so we can get to some picks. We've got NBA Finals Game 4 tonight. Pivotal Game 4. Who's going to come away with the dub? Will the Knicks take a commanding 3-1 lead and move one game closer to getting their championship, or can the Spurs even up the series and take back home court advantage? Plus, we've got some baseball series wrapping up, including the Brewers taking on the Athletics tonight before they return home for a 3-game weekend series against the Philadelphia Phillies. Off day tomorrow, which I think a lot of those guys are going to be happy about, but hopefully they can leave Vegas with a W and another series win. Brandon Sproat's on the mound, though. It's going to be what version we going to get from Brandon Sproat in that ballpark that has obviously a very, 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 very hitter-friendly ballpark. So we got that series to pick, and we got a few more series to pick, too. So let's take our final break and wrap up this craziness coming up after these quick words. Time for some picks. Let's start off with the NBA Finals tonight. So we've got Spurs taking on the New York Knicks. I'm going to go Spurs to even it up. Not feeling great about it. Confident, but that's what I'll roll with. Spurs to even it up. Maybe just because I wanted to extend it a little bit too. So let's take a look at some games, from baseball games, shall we? We've got the Red Sox taking on the Tampa Bay Rays. I will go with Tampa. We've got the Yankees and Guardians. Yankees, Guardians. What am I doing? Yeah, Yankees, Guardians. Let's go with let's go Guardians. How about Washington taking on San Francisco? I'll go Giants in this one. Reds, Padres. I'll go Padres. Seattle taking on Baltimore. Mariners, Diamondbacks, Miami. I'll go with the Diamondbacks. We've got the Dodgers and Pittsburgh. Shohei on the mound. I will go with the Dodgers. Minnesota at Detroit. Give me the Twins for this one. Phillies taking on Toronto. I'll go Phillies. Cardinals taking on the Mets. I'll go Cardinals. Braves, White Sox. Chris Sale's on the mound, so I'll go Braves. Rangers taking on the Royals. I'll go Royals for this one. Cubs, Colorado. I'll go Cubs, although Imanaga pitching in Colorado. Be careful there, guy. Colorado to pick up the win last night, too, so. Houston versus the Angels. I will go with Astros. And then Brewers, Athletics. Jack Perkins, Brandon Sproats. I'm going to go Brewers. Do enough on offense. Both these pitchers could give up a lot of runs in tonight's game. I mean, we have seen a lot of runs scored in already in these two games. But with these two pitchers and how they have pitched so far this season, the potential is there for this to be another high-scoring game. So, yeah, I'll go Brewers. I think they give enough offense tonight to get that W, to get the series win, get back to Milwaukee, and then really prepare for a big, big, big stretch of games. Not that these weren't big. Just ask Pat Murphy. He'll say every 162, every single game is big, but you got Philly, you got Cleveland, you got the Cubs mixed in there, Reds a couple times. Heck yeah, that's a huge portion of the huge portion of the schedule. Excuse me. So, all right, those are your picks. We only got a few minutes left. So, coming up tomorrow, with it being Thursday, we'll do a little "Am I Wrong?" brought to you by Mike's Star Market. Yeah, I know I switched up some of the days on this stuff, just kind of keeping everything fresh. So. This is your homework assignment. I got a couple things for homework assignment for all of you, okay? Am I wrong? Give me the sports take. Give me your sports opinion. Give me your sports thought. Where you would, be like Walter from Big Lebowski, where he says, "Am I wrong?" all the time. So what's your sports version? Am I wrong? Pretend you're Walter, John Goodman's character from Big Lebowski. Am I wrong? Also, I want to kick off a new segment Thursday. 3 up, 3 down. I'm going to have mine. I'll open it up for listener participation. It's kind of like stock reports. 3 sports things that are up, 3 sports-related items that are down. 3 up, 3 down. Could be players, could be teams, could be leagues, could be stories. I can tell you right now, one of those that are down, you'd say college football. Right? Yeah, I mean, you could throw that one in there. One that's up, the start of the World Cup. Just throwing you examples. So those are your 2 homework assignments. Come prepared tomorrow to participate and throw us your thoughts. I want to hear from you. Okay? We'll do a little Glory Days brought to you by Summer Jam as well. We're getting close to Summer Jam, too, next weekend. So, but yeah, that's your homework assignment. Tonight's game, it's going to be another late one, even though it's the series finale between Brewers and Athletics. 8:05 is your first pitch. Coverage will begin at 7:30 on the radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM. So you got a late one again tonight, then an off day, and then back to Milwaukee time, Wisconsin time. Oh, I should also note, too, a reminder, Jake will not be joining us tomorrow. Jake Boakes will not be joining us, conservation warden, because he is in Canada doing some fishing. So if you have any outdoor-related questions, you'll have to save them for next week when Jake is going to be back with us. So save those for next week when we talk to Jake. Just want to throw out a reminder in case anybody was waiting to ask Jake a question for tomorrow. So, again, we got Brandon Sproat on the mound for the Crew. I know a few of you have chimed in this morning. It's like, why is he getting another start? It's a numbers game at this point. Who else are you going to throw out there? Their pen has been used a lot. They've had some injuries within the pen. Starters are still out, like Logan Henderson and Brandon Woodruff. So, I mean, that's kind of where we're at. It's just a numbers game. It's just a numbers game right now. So hopefully Brandon Sproat's going to be able to go out there and have himself a good game. Put his team in a position to win. Hopefully the offense comes prepared to put up a bunch of runs in tonight's contest. And let's get this thing done. Let's get this series win, and then let's get back to Milwaukee. But, yeah, I really think this might be a high-scoring game. Watch. Then it's going to be probably like a 2-1 game. I mean, this ballpark, the ball flies out, and you got two pitchers, again, that have given up a lot of runs in a lot of their starts this year. So that potential is definitely there. All right, that's going to do it for us. Have a fantastic Wednesday. Not Thursday yet. Wednesday. Be weather aware. All right, be weather aware if we get any more storms and such throughout the day and evening. So be careful out there. Just pay attention to the weather and that. Have a good day. Same place, same time, tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. from the TDS Sports Talk Studios. We'll talk to you all tomorrow.